Good morning and welcome to the AIDA International Depth World Championships in Roatan, Honduras, hosted by AIDA International, the Mayan Princess Hotel, Honduras Tourism Board, and Roatan Freediving, and our organizer is Esteban Darhampe. Today we have the women's constant weight discipline. This means that the women will be diving with fins. Constant weight is a little bit of a hard term to use for most people, not understanding what that means, but today's discipline means that the women are allowed to use a fin, and they generally will use a large monofin, or in French it's called a monopalm, because it looks like a big, like your hand, a big palm, big dolphin tail. And you'll see that the dives are much faster than what you've seen on the last 2 days. So this is what we have today. We have 22 women competing, 11 divers on each line. Our first diver is getting ready on the blue platform. It's Julia Wheeler of Australia. She has announced a depth of 50 meters and a dive time in 1 minute and 40 seconds. She's just getting ready to go now. And she's off. You can see that big fin if you look at your screen. She has a very nice style. She's undulating down, trying to emulate a dolphin or a fish. This gives us the best propulsion, and you can see she's very hydrodynamic. She's parallel to the line, which is what we want. I have one of our safety divers joining me right now for just a few minutes, and he's not needed at this very second. This is Mark, and I just wanted to get a little perspective from the safeties. How do you feel this competition is going, Mark, and what do you think about our dive eye here as a safety addition?
The dive eye is an absolutely amazing tool. Like we've seen, you can see every movement the diver is making, and if certain things should happen, especially at depth, we can make a decision very quickly if we need to. It seems like Julia's just making the plate here and turning around. She's got a tag and coming back up. The competition has gone pretty well so far. We saw a little bit of excitement with the men's, but everything is easily handled and taken care of, and everyone's happy and safe, so I would say that's good.
Yeah, that is great. We have a very good safety, which Mark is a part of this team here, and excellent doctors. We have an additional doctor on board today that just flew in from Russia yesterday, so he is joining us as well, Oleg Melnikov, and so we have another backup just in case, which is nice to know. Julia is a relatively new diver. She started 10 months ago, so this 50-meter constant weight is a very nice dive for her. I'm sure she'll be very pleased if she can get a white card in this.
Super happy. I met her in Bali last year during the first competition, and she was almost tucked into it.
Here she comes. She looks fine.
She's looking good. Just the facial equipment. Okay, sign.
She's got the tag in her hand.
Very good. So yeah, she was almost talked into the first competition by the organizer, a good friend of hers last year. She was like, oh, kind of can I do it, can I not? And she did, and had a great time. So now she's here, and now she's super happy. And
let's see what happens here.
Showing the tag, she should.
The judges are conferring, they're speaking to each other to verify that they both have the same opinion on the award for this, and it's a white card. Very nice start. Great way to start off this morning. We're starting off with a nice white card from Julia. So, Mark, give us a little bit about your background and how you got into freediving.
I was a scuba diving instructor for years. I lived in the Cayman Islands and moved over to Thailand, and a girlfriend at the time convinced me. She said, hey, you have to try this stuff. And I had never really understood what freediving was all about. I thought it was just trying to pull down the line and go back up really quickly, see how far you could get. I didn't understand the complete internal kind of journey. So I took a course and absolutely fell in love. And about a year later, after some fun dives and training, I did the Masters and Instructors program and continued teaching for the past couple of years. And I still love scuba, but I prefer to play with the freediving. It's a really nice discipline.
It's very interesting. We were talking a little bit in one of the previous days about the entree into freediving. For different people, it seems to be a different path that they have chosen that ended us all up here. You know, some of us have come from the spearfishing world, or maybe we're an underwater photographer and we wanted to try to increase our breath hold and be able to stay down longer, or maybe we just didn't want to drag a tank around anymore.
A lot of people,
or, you know, in my case, I was a swimmer who had suffered so many injuries and joint problems as a butterflyer that I needed to find something else I could do that didn't put so much stress on my joints. And you know, there's all different reasons why we get into this sport, and there's not one way particularly, and the story is always interesting. But I think the thing we have in common is that we are a very close-knit group. Most of us have a great interest in environmental concerns and ocean conservancy and protection of our environment, because when you're in the ocean so much, you know, and you see this plastic trash and things like that, it's just very upsetting to us. So, but now over here on the white platform, we have Jennifer Brandt from the USA. She is announced a 45-meter dive in a dive time of 1 minute and 40 seconds. Jennifer's another new diver. She's part of the Hawaii contingency who's here. She's been having a little trouble with heat stroke, so not sure how she's feeling. I know that our doctors have been attending to her. Nothing serious, but she just has really had problems with the heat and feeling really tired. So I'm hoping that she's got herself well hydrated and she will feel comfortable and strong and confident on this dive.
I think everyone's feeling it a little bit. It's really hot out here.
It's hot.
Which is nice. It gives us these beautiful conditions.
Yeah, and the water's really warm, but you know, it's always something. You know, we have some competitions where it's cold and like unpredictably cold, and then this particular one, it's been quite warm. So. You know, it's just one of those things you have to deal with, and that, you know, that happens in all sports. You know, like in snowboarding, or sometimes the snow
always
condition.
Variables.
Yeah, there's we can't control those things with the weather. So Julia's getting ready to dive. They're doing the countdown for her. She's over on the line this morning with Judge Kata Romanova of Russia, and let's see, is it Alex with her over there? I can't see who it is.
Chris is over there.
Yeah.
Oh, the judge, Alex.
Yeah,
sorry.
the judge is. I think it's Radek.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push the top. Top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Jennifer's doing her last breath, and there she goes. You can see that big fin flip up into the air that we were discussing, the monofin. It is an innovation that has come, I would say, in the last 10 years or so. Prior to that, we were using regular stereo fins, bifins, as you can see Dan Verhoeven, the photographer, has. But this is much more efficient, and this is one of the reasons why we've been able to increase the depth and the record so much, is because of the technology in our sport with these fins and faster ways to propel ourselves. You can see that Jennifer is moving around a little bit on the line. She is a newer diver. She's having to use her hand to equalize, which can make you throw off your direction a little bit. But we're really pleased to have her here, and looks like she's going to make the plate, which is excellent. She'll be very pleased about that. We have Julia visiting us right now. She just finished her dive. Julia, come on over and tell us about your dive. Congratulations. How did that feel?
Oh, I'm so relieved. Yeah, no, I'm happy.
Good. That was a nice job. So your first major competition.
Yeah.
And you get a white card on this dive.
Another
Yeah.
That's great. Another white card.
Yeah, I'm really stoked. That was
right. Yep.
I was a little bit nervous this morning, so I'm really glad that I focused and did it. And I was worried about my
that's
EQ
good.
as well, but yeah, I'm really stoked.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah.
And here comes Jennifer from Hawaii. She's up on the surface. She's got her head nice and high. You want to make sure that there, she's looking at the judges. She's got a tag.
Nice.
The rule says that the competitor must present the tag to the judges, meaning that if you grab the tag and lose it on the way, That's not good. That doesn't count. You have to have the tag when you come up to the surface.
I was like holding mine over the top of my hand. I'm not letting it go.
There's a white card. Nice job.
Very good
Nice,
for Jennifer.
nice for Jennifer.
Amazing. Go Jennifer.
I'm sure she'll be very happy about that. Over on the blue platform coming up now, we're having Trista Fontana from Australia, and she's announced 52 meters and a dive time of 150. Being that she's one of your compatriots, can you tell us a little bit about Trista?
Yeah, Trista's pretty awesome. She's a pretty determined diver. I know she's been working really, really hard for this competition and putting in a lot of effort and a lot of hours in the water. So, yeah, I really wish her all the best on this dive.
Great, that's good. I'm wondering, for some of our newer competitors, I know the first major competition I competed in was the World Championships in 2009. It can be a little unnerving,
It can be, yeah,
And-
definitely. It is.
And you're here with the best divers in the world, really, and maybe you're just a beginner and you're looking at your depth and saying, oh gosh, this is kind of embarrassing. I'm only going half as far as they are.
Yep.
I mean, literally half as far.
Yep.
But the fact is, for any of you who think about competing in a competition, don't let that deter you. I got to tell you, these people are so wonderful and so helpful. They will help you. Even the world record holder will help you. No one thinks anything of the fact that you are not diving to those depths. They don't think about it at all. Everyone just thinks about their own dive and making their best performance, and you don't have to feel embarrassed at all. So please, if you have any interest, we would love to have you come out and take some courses and learn how to compete. And if you have questions about anything, our website is aidainternational.org. You can write to any of us there. My email is on there, carla.hansen, AIDAinternational.org, or president at AIDA International, however you want to do it. But we'd be glad to help you, and we really would like you to come out and join us. We also have a lot of options for volunteering, and helping out at competitions or within the organization. So
Yeah.
if you have
really
interest in the
feel it.
sport, please contact us. So getting ready now is Trista. Her start time is 9 o'clock, so she has 2 minutes. Our start times are exact times according to internet times, so she will be going exactly at 9. She has 30 seconds from the stroke of 9 to make her entry. She has to submerge her airway and get her dive started. If she is even 1 second later, that is a disqualification.
Come on, Trista.
So we have very
on,
strict,
Trista.
Come
very
on,
strict
Trista.
rules.
Not
We
sure
can
if
do
you can
this.
see here, but she's wearing a hand-carved wooden nose clip from a good friend in Bali who has
Oh,
made.
that
So
adds something special.
August Hong is making beautiful, beautiful things, and she's sporting that today. So hopefully, that's a little new good luck charm.
The nose clip is part of the equipment that some divers use. There's several
Like a
options you can wear. There's one Julia showing
This is a
you.
merman.
We have different manufacturers of them and different styles to suit everyone's preference. It's used to help you from exhaling and also for equalization. We talked a little bit about equalization the other day. Equalizing is that feeling that you get in your
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
ears
no.
that you need to pinch your nose and blow when you're flying. We're trying to dive to the bottom of the pool, and we use that. We use this nose clip. You can actually, with the pressure, blow against it and clear your ears as you're diving, and not have to interrupt your dive and your streamlining. So it's
Sometimes the
wonderful.
photographers as well put it over their masks.
Yeah,
You see when
Dan
they're going
does, yeah.
down. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, Trista's getting ready to go.
All right, go, Trista.
9, 10.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, pre-competition nerves are the worst. Come on, go.
And
Yes.
Trista's off. She had been training
And
in
she's off.
Bali before coming here. She had a little bit of sickness and this and that going on. She wanted to work more, but
Oh no,
no.
she's got some kind of a problem.
malfunction.
Yeah, something happened. So she's going to turn and come up early. If she does her protocol, she can still get a yellow
Come
card.
on, do your protocol. Do your protocol. It's all right.
Some people will choose to not do it and just get a red card, but I don't know if she wants to bother with that or not. Under these circumstances, you do not get a redive. The only thing that would constitute a redive in the rules is if something happened organizationally that went wrong and you didn't get a good start because of that. But if you choose to turn early on your own accord due to equalization or equipment failure, you are not awarded a restart. It is sad, but she'll have another try in Novens if she wants to do that. That's too bad for Trista.
Yeah.
We had some requests to do some definitions. I'm going to start with A. The first one is AIDA. People want to know, what is AIDA? AIDA is an acronym for the French name of our association, which is Association Internationale for the Development of Apnea. We were founded in France 25 years ago by Claude Chapuis and Roland Spector. We're very proud to say it's our 25th anniversary this year.
Wow.
People may think this is a new sport. In fact, it is not. I mean, we're into our 25th year, and so that's what AIDA is. It's just short for those words. Another important A word is apnea. So what is apnea? If you do a Google on apnea, what it talks about is sleep apnea. And you may have heard about sleep apnea. Some unfortunate people suffer from this condition. That is when you stop breathing while you're asleep. So apnea basically means you're not breathing. So for us, this is apnea diving. It means we are not breathing while we dive. We are not allowed to take oxygen. We are not allowed to use any oxygen at all unless it's after the dive. It's part of the rules. So in any of our disciplines, oxygen is not permitted. Coming up on the white platform now, after that unfortunate dive from Trista. So,
Do you know you called me Jennifer the other day?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I have a lot of things to keep straight here.
No, I know.
So over here on the white platform we have Maria Della Bella of Argentina. I'm trying to see if she's there or if she's not going to start. It looks like maybe she's not there. Adam, can you see? Is she going to start or not?
DNS.
She's a DNS. Okay. All right. So here's another term we can define. If you see it on our results, DNS, that means did not start. So for some reason, I don't know why, Bello has decided not to start. She is the Argentinian record holder, national championship. She's competed with us in Colombia, San Andres, several times, and she trains with her coach, Ricky Montans, and she's made a lot of progress in the last year. I don't know if she's not feeling well or what her issue is today, but it's unfortunate that she couldn't make it.
We had a little insight from Trista.
Yes.
She said maybe, was it last week? She had a problem with a tendon and a cramp using the monofin. And just as she started the dive, she felt it to really kick in again, so she decided to turn
Just to abort.
take care of her leg or take care of herself.
Yeah. That's one thing about constant weight, it is all leg power. So if your legs aren't working, it is something that you can't really adjust. And that's unfortunate, but those things do happen. Getting back to a little bit about this particular discipline, constant weight, the term constant weight means that you have to take the same amount of weight down with you and return with that same amount of weight. You're not allowed to weight yourself heavily, drop the weight at the bottom, and then return. If you accidentally lose your weight, which happens sometimes, the weight will fall off, and I've seen it happen where a whole weight belt came off in the turn.
Wow.
That is a disqualification. So it's constant weight with fin is this discipline that we're seeing today. It is considered the most glamorous of our disciplines, and I think it's because it is the fastest and the deepest, and that's why everyone looks forward to this. It is something that most people want to do, and
We're going to grab a monofin. Yeah, we're just going to...
okay. And yeah, Mark's going to get one so you can see what it looks like. This particular one, I think, is one of Alexei's spins. No.
Yeah,
This is one of Alexei Molchanov's. Alexei has his own production company. He's been making different products. This is a Molchanov fin. So here it is. Here's what it looks like. They're custom made to fit your feet. They are not inexpensive. There are some beginner models that aren't quite as expensive, but these competitive models are made to exactly fit your foot. They're extremely tight and very uncomfortable. It's not something you wear just for fun. Your feet, if you have it on for very long, your feet will start to cramp, but that's just part of how it is. It has a very steep angle on the inside of it. I've kind of likened them, most freedivers who compete with a monofin's feet end up looking very mangled, something like a ballerina's feet look from doing the toe. It's just part of it, how it is, but this is definitely not something you will wear just to look around the reef and enjoy it, because it's not that comfortable, and it also takes some time to learn how to steer. You have to do a lot of practice in the pool to get good with it, and it's one of those things that I teach my students. They go back and forth in the pool on front and side and learn to flip it and all kinds of things so that you can control it really well. Next up on the blue platform, we have Annabelle Edwards of Hawaii. Annabelle is competing for the U.S. in the Masters division. In the U.S., we have a very strong Masters program. It's for all people over 50 years old. And she's going to be doing a 56-meter dive in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Annabelle very wryly likes to tell us that she keeps trying to dive her age, and it keeps getting the depth of her age, and it keeps getting harder every year. She is a former world record holder. She's a very experienced diver, a very good diver. She and her daughter used to compete together. They're both experts in static along with depth diving. They had won the Team World Championships in Sharm el-Sheikh. So she's been around a long time, and we're really glad to have her back on the scene again. She hasn't competed in a competition in a world-class event in a few years, so she particularly wanted to come to this event because it's in the Americas, so we're really pleased to have Annabelle here. She's really been a huge influence on freediving in Hawaii. She's got a whole group of competitors she has brought with her, and they have training every Sunday at Honau, and they have a regular system which has produced a lot of good results and a very nice camaraderie amongst the freedivers in Hawaii. They're a very close group, and they have a lot of fun. They have barbecues on the beach and have a regular little club kind of system that's really working well for them.
About 10 people or more just from Kona?
Just from Kona, which is really nice. It's really nice. They were so excited to come here this year, which is really great for us.
I was training with them before I came to Roatan. And yeah, there's about 20 to 30 freedivers every Sunday that get together. It's really beautiful. It's really nice. Okay.
Yeah, Annabelle is breathing up on her back. That is an option. One breathes how they feel most comfortable. Some use floats. They're pool noodles like children use. Others will use a neck pillow, the kind of thing you take on the airplane. Others might sit on a noodle. We saw Ricky Montans the other day in this kind of a pool floaty thing that he had.
The sun lounger.
Yes, it's a lounge. Yeah, there's no rule about that. You can use whatever you like, whatever works for you. You do have to be careful, though, that when you first start and roll over, that you don't get yourself caught in whatever sort of flotation device you're using. We have had several dives where people have gotten wrapped up in the noodle, and it's gotten caught around the monofin, and they've dragged it down to 60 plus meters. I was coaching a dive when that happened. We decided deepest dive with noodle, and that will create a lot of drag and make it very difficult. So sometimes the coach will try to pull it out at the last minute so that it doesn't get tangled, but there are sometimes some problems with that. It isn't really a safety hazard per se. It makes the dive difficult because you're going slow, dragging this flotation device, and as a diver, you'll feel something awkward and maybe not even know what it is, and you're dragging this thing with you, and oftentimes the person will just turn and say, something's wrong here, and it can't ruin the dive, that's for sure. Have you seen that happen before, Mark?
I have, and if you're so focused and ready for everything else, in the first moments you may not realize, but then all of a sudden something's different, and you say, hey, what's going on? And then everyone gets to laugh.
Yeah, we all laugh about it because, I think if it was extremely dangerous, we certainly wouldn't laugh, but it usually is not. Now, we have somebody coming out now with a very large...
That's Brian.
Yes. He's got like a big inner tube thing. He's floating on it.
Brian and Brandon.
Yeah, they're floating on one. You'll see them in a few minutes. You can kind of see them in the background in this shot here. Yeah. So we're just waiting for Annabelle to get ready for her dive. She has her coach with her, Chris Kim. He's part of her club in Kona. He's also in the Masters division, doing his first competition. He had a successful dive in free immersion, and he was very pleased with that. Annabelle has a lot of experience, so this is nothing new for her. She knows exactly what she's doing and what works for her, and let's hope she can put all that experience and come out with a successful dive today. I'm sure she'd be very pleased.
You know, going back to what you were saying earlier, Carla, about how everyone kind of feels like an ambassador or takes care of the sea, or that, I think we all very much feel at home inside of the water. It's very easy for us to connect with each other and understand that and say, hey, we're all a little bit crazy because we like to hang out there only, but it makes a really nice kind of tight-knit group with really good people with big hearts and, you know, lots of smiles and laughs. So it's an absolute pleasure to be around this many people at once. This is a special event.
Yes,
that
and we have a number of our competitors who are directly involved in conservation efforts in their area where they live or where they train, and have made a big impact on government and policy change.
Yes.
And we're very proud of them for that. And Annabelle's getting ready to go. She flips over. You can see her neck pillow. Her coach Chris grabs it so it does not get caught in the fin, which is very nice.
Annabelle.
So Annabelle is off. She's on her way down. You can see Dan Verhoeven just leaving the photo, taking the photo there and leaving the scene. So, how do you think Annabelle is looking today?
She's looking good. She's got the slower approach where she's focused more on relaxation and just taking her time and doing her thing. And maybe that comes with the experience and the amount of time she's been going.
Well, also she has a very good static, so breath hold is not an issue for her. For newer divers who do not have a long breath hold or maybe not as confident in their breath hold, they may want to try to go quicker, which isn't always good because you may be moving faster, but you're also burning more oxygen. So, you know, it's very important to be efficient. But Annabelle can rely on this long breath hold that she has, and I'm sure she's not worried at all about running out of air. If you look at our start list today, which we were showing sort of intermittently between the dives, you can see that the longest dive we have today is 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Those are our deepest dives from Alessia Zucchini and Sayori Kinoshita. At 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and overall though the average is about 2 minutes. So in this particular discipline, because they're moving so much faster, the dive time is not as long as what we have seen previously in free immersion. Or what? Well, she's a little bit off the line there.
Coming closer, coming back.
She's circling around. She's taking a good look at that plate today.
Annabelle.
She wants to choose just which tag she wants. There she comes, and she's coming back. We'll have to ask Annabelle what was going on down there. That should be an interesting story. She kind of gave us it looked like a dolphin looking around, you know, at the bottom.
What do I want?
So here comes Annabelle. She's taking her time. She's in no hurry today. I think she's probably just. It's fun if you're not nervous and you're not taking it too seriously, like I believe Annabelle is, and just to feel the sensations, enjoy the feelings, and enjoy the water, and not be nervous and. Just having a really nice, relaxing dive, and that's what looks like she's doing this morning.
And that's what it's all about. Some people will go so relaxed. Okay, you come a little bit away from the line, or you switch your position a little bit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You're confident. You've done these dives. You can manage your movements there at the bottom.
Yeah. Here comes Annabelle. You can see the buoyancy is just taking her up now. She's not having to kick or anything. She's just relaxed, and there she is. She's such a.
She's so awesome.
Yeah. She gives her signal. She's okay. Very nice protocol from Annabelle. You can see behind her our cadre of safety divers. They're right close in case there was any faltering on her part, ready to assist her if they need to. They do not want to touch her though, because if they try to support her in any way, that would be a disqualification. And so they're just there to react if they need to. But Annabelle's just fine. She's not needing any assistance at all. She's just waiting now for the judge card.
They seem to be having a little discussion.
Yes.
Not too sure what we had.
It's important they make a decision before they issue the card, deciding what they saw. sometimes from our angle we don't see everything that they do. They're right in front of the competitor, so they have a perfect view. Oh, and it's a white card. Nice job for Annabelle. So over on the white platform now, we have Nancy Gibson from the UK, and joining us is going to be Adam Mustow. He's one of her teammates from the UK. Adam has volunteered to come in and tell us a little bit about Nancy and her dive. Good morning to Adam. Nice to see you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry, you might want to turn the contrast down for my English tan.
Yeah, this heat must be really kind of difficult for you.
Do you know, it actually is. It kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about coming out to these warmer climates being easier, and it provides its own unique challenges. Yeah.
That's something. So tell us a little
For
bit
us
about...
temperate types.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Nancy today. Nancy has announced a dive of 53 meters in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Tell us about Nancy and what you know about her and how her training's been going.
Nancy's depth progression's really come on. So she's been training in Dahab earlier this year. I started diving with Nancy at Salt Free Divers in the UK, where we trained depth last year, and she was around the kind of 30-meter mark in constant weight then. So she's obviously been working on her equalisation, which has really seen her depth progression come on a lot. She's had an amazing competition so far. In the Caribbean Cup, she white carded 3 times.
Oh, that's excellent.
And this is Nancy's first foray into depth competition, basically. So she's really doing well, doing herself and her country proud. It's great. So it's going to be exciting to see her do well in this dive as well.
Is constant weight one of her favorite disciplines, or?
I think it is. Yeah, she does quite a lot of fin work in the pool. She's got a really tremendous breath hold on her. It's just over about 5 minutes. She did a competition earlier in the year and white carded that. So her apnea is really good. She's done a lot of deep dives since she's been in Roatan. She got here at the start of August. And she's just been very progressive, which is exactly how you want it to be in freediving.
Yeah, and Nancy's off. Let's take a look here of how she's looking. She has a nice kick technique. As Adam said, she does a lot of training in the pool, which is something that you may not realize but is extremely helpful for training for depth. If you can get your conditioning and your technique down in the pool, it translates over to success in depth. I personally started as working in the pool, and the only thing that you can't practice is equalization. So, and that's the ear clearing that we've been discussing. So that is one thing you do have to learn how to do. But in the pool, you can really work on a lot of other technique issues.
Nancy's lactic threshold is really good. She's done some PBs in the pool with fins, which is basically covering a distance. She's just dropped into Freefall now.
And she's at the plate.
She's hit the plate. She's got the tag.
Here she comes.
That was a nice smooth turn. She looked pretty relaxed. She did a little arm swipe to get into Freefall and just one extra kick.
And here she's going to lift her arms up to get a nice hydrodynamic position. And she's looking very nice. Undulating those hips, using that fin to propel herself up. And getting close to the surface here. In a minute we will see the safeties enter the picture and guide her the rest of the way up.
She's looked really smooth throughout the entire dive. I think her relaxation during this has been great.
Safety number 1 is coming in right now. He will be signaling her, letting her know where she is as far as her depth goes. She's coming right up. Safety number 2 is now there. She's getting close to the surface. See the cameras coming in. She's still kicking.
It's pretty steady.
Yeah, she's still kicking. Now she's going to float up, giving that last kick.
She's about to break the surface. Let's see what she does.
And here she is.
She's found the rope.
Yeah, she's found the rope backwards. She needs to turn around. There she goes.
She looked maybe a little bit wobbly when she surfaced, but I think she's kept her composure and looks like she might have done a pretty good protocol. So
yeah, let's see what the judges say. She's getting her tag. She had it stuck somewhere to her suit. One thing you don't want to do is search for the tag and dip your airway. If you do, that's a disqualification. So you want to make sure that you can grab that tag and show it to the judges without putting your face in the water. That's a very unfortunate mistake when that happens, but it does happen sometimes. So,
holding the line at the surface, turn over.
Oh.
It looks like something's occurred with the surface protocol for that.
Oh, so it was a white card. I don't really understand what John Wright is the judge there that was speaking to her. Something about.
Holding the rope when she went down.
But on the turn.
But was it a yellow card for a grab?
No, on the.
So she did a dive the other day, and she was explaining to me that so when you're doing a breathe up on your back, and you go to turn to do your duck dive, you have to basically get your hand on the water onto the rope before you do turn. If you move your hands above the surface when your airways go in, that can be an issue.
If it's at or above the surface, it's allowed. If it's below the surface, it is not. So if you can keep your hand right at or above, it's all right. But if it's below the surface, it can either be a grab penalty or a pull. If you actually pull, it's a disqualification. So you have to be very careful where you have that hand. It happens quite frequently with people who breathe up on snorkels because they will have their hand down lower, and the judge has to watch to see when that snorkel is removed. It can be quite a difficult call to make, but
it sounds like that may have been the case, but I think they might have given her the benefit of the doubt. That she's got a big smile on her face.
If it's at the same time, the benefit of the doubt goes to the athlete. Cool. So nice job for Nancy.
Really great dive.
We now have Annabelle Edwards joining us. Thank you so much, Adam.
Good dive, Annabelle. Congratulations.
I have an old timer's hint for how to turn over. If you're on your back, breathing up, you can either pull from your lanyard, or you can pull from your clip.
Yes, and I have seen some divers do that. Ruzo Shimoniya of Japan has the smoothest entry I've ever seen, and he does this pull and then this gorgeous glide into the water. And every time I watch him, I tell him, it's just stunningly beautiful. Congratulations on a lovely dive, Annabelle.
Oh, thank you. I still had to go slow.
Well, we were talking about that though, and I pointed out to our viewers that you are someone with an incredible breath hold. So it doesn't matter, and for you, going slow and relaxation and doing your equalization is more important than doing a fast dive, because you're not going to run out of oxygen.
That's right. I've got a good breath hold, so I can.
So that is not a problem for Annabelle, and because that she is so experienced, she knows exactly where she should be on the line and how much air she has. This is something for newer divers that can be hard to learn, is how fast do I need to go in order to still have enough air. And but if you can relax, that air will go a lot further.
That's right. Yeah. The slower you go, the longer time you have in the water. And I don't know if you noticed in my dive, I actually had to slow myself down.
Well, and we saw you kind of circle the plate. We were kind of wondering what was going on down there.
I think that was just the current.
Okay.
I mean, Okay. And you can't see very well, so I'm going, where are those tags?
Annabelle, since she has her lanyard right here, will you please lift your arm up? I want everyone to see what this is. This is a requirement in all AIDA competitions that you wear a lanyard, also for training, for safety. So here's the carabiner. This gets attached to the rope, and this gets attached to your arm. It has a quick release on it in case you have a problem and have to let yourself go. And it's a specified length that it needs to be. There is some variation. Some people have a little bit longer and a little bit shorter, but there are regulations on that. And this is one of our safety devices. Over on the blue line now, we have Lily Crespi from France. She's doing a 64-meter dive in a dive time of 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Annabelle, can you give us some comments on Lily?
She's completely smooth and streamlined right now. And what I like is that she's doing these tiny, small kicks. They keep you in line and keep you moving, but they're not taking any energy, and it's basically free falling.
And we saw her do just one pull to get her into that free fall. So let's explain to people what the free fall is. For those who don't know, what is that?
Well, the dive is basically in 3 sections. The first third of the dive, you're very buoyant, and it's a little bit harder work to get down to neutral buoyancy. The middle part of the dive is neutral, and you have to work a little bit to keep moving. But then you get to the free fall part, and that's the part we all like. So there she goes, past. She almost went past
the plate. Yes. She was so relaxed, she's just going to keep diving.
Yeah. Yes, and she went past the plate, got her tag, now she's going up. Now on the way up, it's the same problem as going down. The bottom of you're heavy at the bottom third, and you have to kick hard. Then you get to the middle where you're neutrally buoyant, and you have to kick a little slower. This is when you should be saving. See, she switched gears right
Yeah,
there.
now she's
She
slowing
went down
Yeah.
to second gear, and she's just going a little slower. It's not. You don't want to burn up all your oxygen.
She was
and now
kicking quite hard at the beginning.
Yeah, she's kicking very hard, and now she's getting up to where she should be buoyant again, and maybe she'll even do a arm pull.
Yeah, you can tell she's relaxing now, going slower. She's letting the buoyancy work for her. And there she is, one arm pull, and there she comes.
Yeah.
She's at the surface. She removes her no clip, gives an okay sign. She seems to be fine. She's nice and high on the line. Were you feeling any current today, Annabelle?
Well, there was two problems. On the way down, it kind of pushed me into the rope.
Oh.
And that's why I was going a little slow at the surface, because it was rubbing. I was just stuck right on the rope.
Kind of hitting the line.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was hitting the line. So
And that's a white card for Lily. Nice job. That was nice. So there is a little bit of current today then. I'm feeling a little something anyway out there.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
We haven't had a lot of trouble with current. We do have some competitions
pretty
where
good today.
where the current can be quite strong. Sometimes it's just surface current from the wind. Other times it can actually be an ocean current, and it can occur at different depths. So it's always a factor that you have to take into consideration. Coming up on the white platform, we have Gritty from Germany, and Gritty's getting ready for her dive. She is going to be doing a 62-meter dive in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Gritty has been diving for a while, but this is one of her first major competitions, and the first time I've met her was here, so I know she's very excited to be here. And I'm not sure what her specialty is, but as I was saying earlier, and Annabelle can comment on this, the constant weight with fin is probably our most glamorous event of all the disciplines. I think it's just because of the mystique surrounding it and the speed and the depths that are attained.
Yeah.
So some people, each person will have their favorite. Which disciplines are your favorites?
Well, that's a weird thing that happened to me. Of course, everybody likes with a monofin best. You know, we love our constant weight.
Yeah.
But the best has been for me has been free immersion. I've done more records, and I guess it's because I have a long breath hold that I can just do free immersion with. I hardly ever train for it.
Yeah.
I don't train for free immersion, except for warm ups. And so it's done really good for me.
Oh, that's great.
But I love no fins.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's another thing. My daughter and I were on the U.S. women's team for 10 years running.
Yes.
We were the team, and the best thing I would say about us is that we were kind of good in all over.
Yes.
All the different disciplines. Because we're good at static. And, I guess our worst one is dynamic. We were pretty bad. But I like no fins.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
But if you're in the ocean, you want fins.
Yeah.
You don't want to be.
So. So we're just waiting for Gritty now. We've extended our dive intervals a little bit today to allow a little bit more time between the dives, just to give everyone time to get everything set and ready. So you'll see a little bit longer time between each one, and that's why we're having more time between. It's Gritty is breathing up on her stomach, and that seems to be her preference. Countdown. She's just in her last few seconds now.
So watch your hand.
Getting ready to go. Yep, she has her hand underwater, so the judges will be watching that carefully to see if she needs to let go of the rope before she removes her snorkel.
She's let go.
She's let go, and there she goes.
Very good.
And she's off. She's
Very smooth.
very smooth. Nice kicking style here. She's right on the line, parallel to the line. Does one pull, getting into the free fall.
Already.
That was, well, now I'm going to kick a little bit more. She's at 22 meters. I think she may have thought she was ready and then maybe decided to add a little speed. going into the free fall, I think that there's a variation. And Annabelle, do you like to kick a little harder to get going, to get more speed before you start, or what is your particular technique?
I have to kick quite a bit farther to get down to where I'm positively, where I'm negatively buoyant, where I'm actually free falling. But another reason she might have put her hands down, it's a little more relaxed and a little easier to concentrate on your equalization and mouthfeel and relaxed breath hold. So there's some reasons to put your arms down sooner. She could have waited a few more meters and used that arm pull.
She's got the tag. She's at the plate.
That was very fast.
It was very fast. It looks like she secured the tag into her weight belt. She's now on her way back. She looks very relaxed. She has
hardly
her hands
kicking.
Hardly kicking. Yeah, just easy kicks. Has her arms down at her side in a relaxed position.
Yes.
And here she comes.
Yeah, she's taking her time.
She is taking her time. She's obviously composed at this moment, not worried about anything.
So her arms down approach is working for her.
And here she brings them up, getting closer to the surface. She's getting into a more hydrodynamic position. Both of the safeties have now joined her. Coming up. Safeties are looking to make sure that she's positioned correctly and won't be coming up under the platform or running into anyone. Both photographers are in the scene now. And here she comes.
2 minutes and 7 seconds.
Good job. Moves her mask. Nose flip. And signal I'm okay. We could even hear her from here. She's not loud, but she has a nice clear voice. Very nice. Now she will wait for the decision from the judges. John Wright of New Zealand. Katja Romanova. Good. She's excited. She's showing the tag. Judges are conferring. White card for Brittany. I'm sure she'll be very pleased with that. We have Junko Kitohama of Japan joining us on the dive-eye boat this morning. We have another screen at the other end of the boat, and she's representing the judges watching the dives. Part of what we're doing now that we have this extra tool with dive-eye is that the judges are actually watching while they're happening to see if they're seeing anything happening underwater that's a rules violation.
And since you can't see the bottom plate, the judges here can give a white card, but the judges up here can put a check by that one that says you need to check this dive.
It's giving us an extra tool because if we see someone grab the line in a place they're not supposed to, or go up and down, or do something that is not something that we want them to do, we can check on it later.
I was definitely thinking about that today.
Yes.
I was riding, I had a lot of difficulty at the last 5 meters.
So this technology that we have employed here has a lot of different things that we can use to help us. First off, of course, is the safety, which is the primary use for this. But also, as a spectator now, we're being able to make these broadcasts and show what we do to the world is fabulous. But also for judging, it's an aid for that. So there's just multiple facets to this, and the technology that we're now able to have and do this, it's really great. I think everyone's really enjoying it.
Another really good tool is the depth finder, fish finder. So they can follow the dive from the platform and know what depth the diver is at, if they're moving, if they're coming up.
Yes.
That's a really big help to the safety divers.
It is.
So the safety diver doesn't have to go by dive time because I went slower than my dive time.
Right. Yeah. As each diver, when they announce their depth, they're required to announce an estimated dive time, which gives the safeties idea how long that dive should take. But with our sonar here that's on the platforms, we can actually see where the diver is along here with dive-eye. Sonar is a required element for all world championship and world record status competitions in AIDA. And it's because it is a safety tool. And They're actually, you can purchase a fish finder, and Annabelle can tell you because she hosts a competition in Hawaii, and they're not that expensive.
They're not that expensive. However, I did buy one that was not the mid-range, and you have to get one that has a fast sample time. So mine was a little too delayed. It's like, even 2 seconds is not quite close enough.
Right.
But another thing we should add is that is a really good safety precaution for the safety divers.
Yes.
We need to watch our safety divers,
We do.
even when we're in training.
Yes. Yeah, that we can have a problem with the safeties having issues too. They do a lot of dives and have to have a lot of breath hold. So coming up now on the blue platform, we have Amber Bork of Australia. Amber is really a no-fin specialist and a very good in the pool as well. She's just entered going with a little back dive. Amber is a former synchronized swimmer. She has a very good breath hold, and that synchro training has given her a very good control and feel for the water. She can make very small movements in order to adjust herself in the water, and that's from all these years training as a synchronized swimmer. She was on the Australian national team, and so this is so now we have joining us 2 successful competitors, Lily Crespi of France and Gritty from Germany, and congratulations ladies, those were lovely dives.
Thank you.
Yes, give us a couple of comments first here on Amber and what you think about Amber's technique, and then I want to hear about your dives.
Oh, she looks super relaxed, like really perfect freefall. I was really surprised watching her duck dive. That was the first time I've seen somebody do a duck dive like this, like going
Backwards.
kind of backwards.
It was lovely, and I think that's
Nice.
part of that synchro swimmer chant. You know, they can do all kinds of amazing things, so she's very flexible because of that, all that water movement they do. Yes. She's now at 59 meters. She has an announced dive of 65 meters. She's coming
Very
down. There's the
streamlined.
plate. She's going past the plate, moving that fin behind it. She's getting the tag and coming back up.
Very relaxed.
Oh yes.
She's taking her time.
Yeah, she is. She doesn't seem to be in any hurry. Because of that synchro, she has a long breath hold. She's used to having to hold her breath and move at the same time, because they do that, under the water with legs up and all those things that they do. She's moved her arms now up above her head. She's looking
Very
good.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lily, how did that dive feel for you?
Oh my god. It was a little bit messy. My alarm didn't ring.
Oh,
So
yeah, we saw
I
you
kind
look
of
like you were surprised.
Took my
down there.
mouth feel, whatever, randomly, but it was okay. It wasn't my most relaxed dive ever, but it was fine.
You think it was just competition nerves, or?
No, I felt like I needed a bit more sleep. I was not in a super good mood this morning, but it's fine. It's
Oh,
part of the
that's
game.
great.
It was okay anyway.
Good. Well, congratulations. A white card is always a white card,
Thanks.
and that's always nice. Even if it didn't feel good, it looked good, right? So that's great. And here comes Amber. She's got both safeties with her. She's going to do one pull and then just use her positive buoyancy to float to the surface. She's coming up now. We're just waiting to see her protocol, and there she is. She gives her signal. Hear a little boat noise in the background, where you have to have boats
How's
ferrying
your
us back
dive?
and forth. Lily is asking Gritty about her dive, and as soon as we see Amber's card, we'll get some insight from Gritty about this whole process that went on here today.
That's the wait part. Waiting for
Yeah,
the
wait.
card.
Seems like forever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There it is. It's a white card.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Gritty, please tell us about your dive today.
My dive was a bit messy as well. I almost lost my weight belt, and but I learned in all these long years that you have to focus, or you have to pick the good things from your dive. So what went really well today was actually my surface protocol. I was really happy because this is what I'm worried about most, to be in the correct direction for the judges. So I was really happy that I managed this, and I think it was a much better surface protocol than the other day.
That's
And I'm
great.
happy about my white card anyway.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
White
a
card.
competition PB for me, so
Oh, that's
I
excellent.
was really
Congratulations.
conservative, but I wanted to have a white card. This was my goal.
Oh, that's great.
Well done to you too.
Yeah, that's great.
We were training in Dahab together.
Yeah. Oh,
so
good.
it's
So
like,
you've known
it's
each other
nice.
for a while. That's nice. Yes, our European divers, a number of them train in Egypt and Dahab or Sharm el Sheikh.
Yeah.
In their home countries, they oftentimes don't have a good dive location due to either being inland or cold water, rough seas, maybe only a green lake. As you might have in Germany, the lakes there. I was recently with Alexi in a lake, and the visibility is practically nil. So
I started as a scuba diver in Germany, but since I'm freediving, I completely stopped diving in lakes. Although I would like to try it under ice.
yeah,
This is one of
that
my
would be
dreams.
fun.
Yeah, this is one of my dreams.
we have a number of divers who have that aspiration. So over on the white platform, we have coming up will be Alenka Artnik from Slovenia. She's going to be doing a 100-meter dive in a dive time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds. She is our longest dive of the day,
I'm gonna
the
leave
deepest
my spot
dive
to
of the dive.
the guys.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you very
joining
much.
us. Thank you very
Bye.
much. So right now I've got a couple of our men who
I'm
have
watching
arrived
secretly from
to
here.
help with us. It's a world record holder in this particular discipline in the men's division, Alexei Molchanov of Russia, and Adam Stern, the Australian national champion. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you this morning. So we're getting into the meat of our dives here today. The deepest dives are coming up, so I'm looking forward to hearing your comments.
Well, this is going to be exciting because this is the deepest announced dive for the day, so it's
It
going to be
is.
really interesting to see how this goes.
It is our deepest dive.
Yeah,
So we're
9:44.
here. Yeah, we're getting ready here
2
for
minutes.
Alenka. Yes.
2 minutes.
So she did this exact same dive in the Caribbean Cup just about a week ago or so, so we definitely know that she can do the dive, it's just whether she can pull it off today.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if there's any nerves that come into play or anything else, because it's actually the World Championship dive now. So that would be the only thing. She looked extremely strong in the Caribbean Cup on that one. There was absolutely no shakes, no nothing at all. So I would actually be surprised if but you never know. You know, it's a different stress factor. So we'll
It's
just
hard
see.
to quantify as well. You
It
know?
is. It
And
is.
it's the first time for her in the World Championships, and she knows that this is a dive for the gold medal.
Yeah.
So that makes it a bit harder
Yeah,
too.
it is hard. It's just that added element of stress that can be, and for someone like you, Alexi, who's competed in how many World Championships now?
I don't remember. I think since 2005, every
But
beside Okinawa, I was not in Okinawa 2010.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than that, every World Championship.
So Alexi has a lot of World Championships experience. So, he may be a little bit better able to control the nerves than some people, but others seem to be able to just focus and go in within themselves and complete things where others seem to really be affected by nerves. So we'll have to see how Alenka does today.
I'm feeling positive.
Good, good. I always like to feel positive and wish everyone good dives are always better than those.
It looks like me and Alex have just arrived down here, but it looks like the conditions are immaculate.
It looks beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. Yeah.
Okay, she's just getting ready to go. She's just reaching.
And also very interesting
End
to
of
see
her
her style, because we never got to see her style on deep dives. So that'll be.
So they're looking forward to that. Yeah, we're a nosy bunch as well.
Alright, she's getting ready to go.
There she goes. 100 meters, and her dive time is 3 minutes and 12 seconds.
Actually, interestingly, she uses Slovenian style, which Samo Duranko.
Samo.
Samo was using it before, the hands down swim.
Yeah,
So
her
that's really
compatriot
interesting.
Samo Duranko is the deepest Slovenian man in constant weight. He's also an excellent pool competitor. He's a swimmer.
Excellent all-round freediver, really.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. Very tall. He is very tall.
2 meters.
Yes.
Almost.
And his hair adds another foot to the whole thing.
Right.
She's finning quite deep. We're at 40 meters now, and she's still finning. It's going to be interesting to see how deep she'll do this.
Yeah.
You can see.
I mean, Alex,
The speed is pretty good.
The speed is very good. As the resident expert monofinner, what do you think about monofinning with the arms by the side?
I think it's a good idea to try this technique if if your aero position makes you tense, arms above the head makes you tense, then it'll be beneficial for sure.
Do you think it's more difficult to steer though, Alexei? To steer yourself with your hands down at your side? Or
Actually,
can you use your hands like rudders a little bit on the side?
You can.
She's looking very relaxed and she just keeps circling around that line. I think she's having a great time.
Yeah, she's at 85 meters now and doesn't seem to be feeling any stress.
She don't look at the line though, like she just free falls.
I think she's running her hands along the line, so she knows she's in contact with it and she just closes her eyes.
Yeah.
And here we go, touchdown 100 meters.
Coming up, everyone in the arena here knows she has made the 100 meters. And so now we just have to wait. She's doing a lot of little small kicks.
Which is good for speed, like this small amplitude and higher frequency. If it's done relaxed, that's really a nice technique.
Now
there
she's
we go,
going to
arms
lift
above
her
the
arms
head.
up. She's at 70 meters, arms above the head. Okay,
One
write
of-
that down, Alexei.
One
70.
of the reasons why, now she's back to, of the reasons for the arms down at the bottom is to prevent too much pressure on the chest. So that helps with the, like, pressure and possibility of injuries.
But it seems like now that she's got her arms above her head, she's slowed her finning stroke
She
and she's
has.
increased the amplitude. So it's a much more, it looks like a much more relaxed swim.
Yes. When arms, they also play a role of balancer. When you have arms above the head, they help to have a more powerful kick. When you have the arms down, you should swim with a smaller amplitude.
Alright, and she's with the first safety and second safety.
Both there. Signaling her, letting her know where she is. She's going to do a pull.
She did quite deep pull, I would say 20 meters is a bit, but let's hope she's fine. It's hard to say when you see athlete first time.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't know what her normal style is, so it's hard to
But
tell.
she looks fine.
She looks like she's having a great time.
Yeah.
She's waving her arm through the water. Hello!
No,
Oh, she blew us a kiss.
Breathe.
And she's breathing. I almost breathed with her.
Yeah. Come on, come on.
And look how fresh she is.
Yeah.
That was an amazing dive. That was
Beautiful. It's so wonderful to see a diver do
Okay,
such
Adam.
a big dive.
Maybe we need to switch to arms down now.
Let's do arms down.
That's
Wow, she's already giving us some fist pumps here. She's excited about this.
Look how you pull
yourself
yourself
up
out
to
of
the
the
bottom
water.
of the arm.
That was a strong dive.
That was a
strong
very,
dive.
you know,
If she would have more time, she
Yes.
would do
yes,
deeper dives.
yeah. In my
pretty
opinion,
soon.
she looks like she has more gas in the tank for
Oh, yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
and which means I think we'll see some big things from her in the future. That is our deepest announced dive of the day. So, barring any sort of unusual circumstance with a protest or something, she will be the gold medalist. The way we have our start times arranged is to have the deeper dives in the middle of the day, and that is a safety element so that the safeties are warmed up, ready to go, but also still
Not
fresh.
fatigued, yeah.
So it does make it may make the list rather odd. You might think that we'd start with the either deepest or shallowest and move in that direction, but we've just found over time that for the safety factor, it's better to have those deeper dives in the middle. So that's why we're doing that.
I truly love watching someone do a dive that's so big and come up like so in control and so fresh. You know what I mean? It's the style of diving I really respect. I think most people do. It's phenomenal.
Well, we
to
don't
see.
like to do that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't always happen for us. So.
No, of course.
That's our goal. We don't want to come up and look like we're in, La La Land, but unfortunately, sometimes that's just how it is.
That's true.
Coming up now on the blue platform, we have our next competitor who's going to be
Alessia
Alessia
Zucchini.
Zucchini, who is the current ladies world record holder. She just broke the record in the Bahamas this year in May at the Vertical Blue competition, and interestingly enough, the record which she broke was Alexei's mother's record. So that was interesting. That record had been around for a long time. We didn't have anyone even close to breaking it. Suddenly, we have several women who have very good chance of being able to. to do that. We had at that same competition, Hanoko Hirose of Japan broke that record as well and brought it up to 103, and then the following dive was Alessia at 104, who furthered it. So our current world record is 104. Alessia today is diving more conservatively. She's announced a 98-meter dive and a dive time of 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And guys, can you tell me what you know and think about Alessia?
I think this announcement shows a great maturity as a diver to actually scale it back and do a dive that she's absolutely certain she can do in this high pressure environment.
She should do it for sure. Like I think her arm played a little bit of role in announcing.
She had an accident. She fell off her motor scooter and really injured her arm. So that was affecting her as far as her no fins and pre-immersion competition. But this is mostly not using your arms. So
but still,
should be
it's
less
hard to do to hold the proper aero position.
She does like to free fall
with the aero position.
Above the head.
Yeah, she does. She do all the way down with the arms. So it's very opposite to Alenka.
Yeah.
But also with Alenka dive before, we could see that aero position. Like I would say that she could improve it and do it because her aero position was a bit wide. Maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe that's just the wetsuit as well. I noticed that she has like a maybe not too stretchy wetsuit.
Yeah.
Maybe that resists the proper arm position.
Well, you should sort it out with a wetsuit, Alex.
We should sort out Alenka with the wetsuit.
Alexei has started his own company and developing freedive equipment, and it's really quite interesting. He's got an engineering and freediver approach to it, and he has developed his own line of fins, nose clips. Now he's getting into the wetsuit business and freedive equipment for freedivers, everything freediving,
for fellow
floats,
freedivers.
everything. So.
Okay, Alessia is getting ready to go.
All of them use pillows. Look at this.
Yes.
They do. It's the new style.
No,
we're behind the time.
No, it's actually the old style, but some of them have revisited it, I believe.
Yeah. So you can see one arm is not straight.
Yes.
Here,
she's holding her wrist.
But she should be fine. She was saying it feels better, and her technique is very, very good. She have narrow amplitude.
Yes.
Not too much energy spending on the technique.
But she seems to be moving quite fast through the water.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 meter per second. Let's see how far down she will swim.
Look at that nice straight line there. Look how
That's
that
beautiful.
moves. Isn't that
It's
lovely?
beautiful to watch.
It is just lovely.
That shows the benefits of having little amount of muscles.
Yes,
very
yes.
very
She's
lean.
Very lean, very slight.
Yeah. Actually, this free fall with the arms down looks cooler than the free fall with the free fall with the arms in the air position looks cooler.
It does look cool.
Yeah,
and freedivers are all about looking
cool. So maybe we need to switch now. Okay, on the previous
That's-
day we decided to switch to the arms down position.
Yes.
Now we decided to switch to free fall with the air position.
You guys just tell me what looks good and I'll do it.
Yes,
Exactly.
Judge Katya Romanova has all kinds of suggestions for Alexei on his wetsuit line, and it's all about looking good.
Of course.
It's all about looking good.
We want to look like superheroes in our wetsuits.
Absolutely.
Well, so far Alessia looks great.
She's still finning
Helps.
ever so slightly.
It might be because of a little current too. Like if there is little current, she feels a bit unbalanced. That's why she might do these movements. But other than that, 1 meter per second
She's
speed.
reaching the bottom, she grabs the tag, and she turns around very quickly, and she's out of there. Beautiful.
Looks like it'll be very confident and fresh dive for her.
I definitely agree. Seems like she's going to maintain that same finning style all the way up.
I would think too, Alexei, and you could reply to this, that once you've attained the world record, is it sort of like a little bit of a stress relief that she now has the record, and you know, this dive she decided not to try to push it and do something less, but she knows in her head that she just doesn't have all that pressure on her anymore.
For sure, yeah. When you have a world record, it gives you more space to play with announcements. And
you don't have to win every competition because you know you've been the deepest.
You've already got it on the. It's supposed to be on the AIDA website. Your new world record. It's supposed to be.
I think if you compare, like, what is better, gold medal on the world championship on the world record, usually world record is cooler.
Yeah.
And what do freedivers care about?
Coolness.
Coolness.
That thing
Coolness.
again.
Maximum coolness.
Maximum
She still maintain the same technique, which is good because in Bahamas, I saw in Bahamas in the last 20 meters, she would start to do knee kicking, like showing that her legs are tired.
She looks extremely well
But
composed.
here she keeps great technique.
I think she was under a lot of stress in the Bahamas from the whole Italian team and her country, and it was very hard for her.
Lots of responsibility.
Yes. And
Well, we
I
can
think-
see this time. We can see safeties only so far.
Yeah. This
But
is very-
safety's
she's so
good.
she's so tiny they're completely blocking her.
Yeah, but she seems like she's just floating to the surface.
Yeah,
And
there she is.
the Spira. She was fresh. That's for sure. She was fresh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It looked like for me, even though she looked like a bit disappointed about her announcement.
That could have
IDV.
been. She probably, especially now, she's probably saying to herself,
Like-
"Geez, I
Should
that
have
was,
done 101.
I
Yeah.
should have done. I should have done more."
Yeah, the way she did the protocol, she looked like just
yeah,
bored.
No, see, look
A
at
little
she's
bit-
smiling at us. She's saying,
Yeah.
"Why didn't I announce more?"
Probably she. I would.
Yeah, nice.
Oh!
Beautiful, and that will be a silver medal for Alexia Zucchini.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, she may have been having some thoughts like, "Well, I think I'm going to do a safe dive and just."
But I'm
see how-
sure she had these thoughts about, oh my God, why I didn't announce deeper
Yeah.
on the way up. That's
Yes,
why.
yes.
That's where you have narcosis at the bottom, like when
Uh-huh.
athlete turns at this depth. If you have some ideas, you have some thoughts about anything, when narcosis kicks in, you start to think more about someone.
It comes right to the surface.
And then you start to just think about anything which was in your head for the previous days. And that's interesting how this narcosis works.
You know, the thing that is really funny too for, you know, some of our aspiring divers or aspiring competitors, that you always are second guessing yourself. And those days that you make that early turn, that's the worst. You make the turn, sometimes you don't even know why you did it, and then after you did it and you're on your way up and you're kicking yourself this whole time saying, why did I do that? Why did I turn early? And I don't know what it is. Something goes through your head like, I'm done.
It's this instantaneous response to stress.
It is. It's just, and later where you say to yourself, what was I doing? And we all tend to beat ourselves up anyway about everything we do, about our diving. And
But then more dives you do, you learn how to just quickly cut the crap.
Absolutely.
cut the
well, we
cut
try
all this
to,
all this thoughts and ideas, because they distract you from actual dive.
Yeah, any kind of negative. I think that's, you know, a life lesson, isn't it? Negative thoughts
Thinking, negative
defeat
thinking,
us in so many ways. And in this sport, which is really mental, more so than anything else, the mental aspect
And
is huge.
that's one of the biggest, I think, biggest benefits of freediving. You learn how to control your stress level and control your thoughts, and be like, if you want to be successful freediver, you need to start think positively, like in any circumstances, even like 100 meters underwater.
Yes.
That's hard. Then when you learn this, technique, or that it transforms to normal life as well.
It does.
Like-
It does. If I think that we would all agree, just in general, if we can get rid of those negative thoughts, that we can be much more successful in all sorts of ways. We're also a much more pleasant person to be around.
100%.
Negative people are not fun to be around.
Right.
Somebody who's positive is much more enjoyable. You know what I mean? The sad side.
Oh,
it's gonna
we can
rain.
see Kate Middleton with a
Kate-
giant
noodle looks like it's growing out of her.
It's like a tail.
It
It's like a
does.
tail.
Kate Middleton is from New Zealand, and we call her the Golden Girl because she's all in gold, and she has blonde hair, and she's lovely. She is the partner of Mike Ford. They have a training facility in Gili, Indonesia. Kate has
Gili,
really come on in the last, I'd say, year or two. This
Yes.
last vertical blue, she was unbelievable.
Oh, she's been on fire for a while now.
She did. She's
fire.
announced 98 meters today and a dive time of 3:05,
This
and
will
she
be
has
equal silver medal.
Yeah.
You know, Alexei, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your thoughts about how the women have just suddenly just come on. I mean, we've had so many women now in the 90s and knocking on the door in the hundreds. What do you think? What do you attribute that to?
It was just such a long time since world record of 100 meters was broken, and just I think more women just get comfortable with the idea of be diving to 100 meters. Just time has passed, and it become more normal, like less stressful when you think about this depth. Okay, she's going to dive soon, and
Mike is
for-
there.
for her it'll be
She'll be equal to her PB.
equal to her PB. So we'll see how she handles a little
did
bit of
it-
stress, but
yeah.
she's very strong-minded.
Absolutely.
She did a very nice dive in the Caribbean Cup. And here goes Kate. Mike
she
takes that
goes.
noodle so it doesn't get caught in her monofin, so she doesn't have to drag it with her. Kate's on her way down, and congratulations! We have our unofficial gold medal winner with us, Alenka. What
Yeah.
a
Hi, guys.
stunningly beautiful dive that was.
But now let's finish with the
Let's see Kate.
Kate.
Okay, here she goes.
So she has a smooth and actually lazy style, which
Yes.
is very relaxing, and the speed is good.
Speed is beautiful.
Speed is good. That's what I always look at. I look at the time, I look at the depth, and even though she looks very relaxed and lazy, she still does 1 meter per second without any effort.
Well, I think she swims with a slightly larger amplitude, so it looks like it's slow, but she's getting more power out of it.
Yeah.
And she's holding her fingers to her mouth to assist in her mouth fill, to assist in her equalization. And now she relaxes a little bit. Kate has done this dive in training before, and she looks good when she did it in training, so it's just a matter of whether she pulls it off today, which we know she will.
We hope she will.
Well, Kate's been living with us
In
with
the
me and
powerhouse.
Alexi in the powerhouse.
Yeah.
So you know we have to be behind her.
Even though she is from New Zealand and you're Australian, and there is some issues
Even
there,
though
right?
she is the enemy, officially the enemy.
She's from Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
Too.
So she's officially your enemy. Okay, she's getting
Yeah.
down to the end now. She's starting to fin.
Probably she has a lot. She have a lot of alarms.
Kate has a lot of alarm. Every 10 meters, there's an alarm. It looks like she's going to turn early. She's had an issue with her equalization.
All right.
Mm.
Okay, but that will mean that she will be fresh on the surface
She's
for
still
sure.
going to be fresh on the surface, but I don't imagine she's going to be very happy about that. She's had no issues with her equalization so far in this training period, so that's surprising.
It was some nerves.
Yeah,
So,
definitely nerves.
Alenka, please tell us about your dive. You certainly look solid on that.
It was a really, really good dive. I'm really, really happy. I was
Did you get
obviously-
nerves? Did you get nerves?
I
on the
was nervous. I was very nervous. But then somehow, like 3 minutes before the dive, I just shut down everything and just focus. I know on when I have to be focused, and it worked again. So I'm gonna just keep on doing this because it's working.
Yeah.
The style is beautiful for
She has a beautiful technique.
Kate. She's pretty fast on the way up.
She's very fast.
Well, that's something
yeah.
that she's changed actually only this year. She's increased her ascent speed, and she says she feels so much better for it.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see the safety divers struggle to keep up.
Yeah.
Speed mermaids.
Yes.
We'll rarely see that tomorrow with the men.
Oh, yeah.
The safety divers will be working really hard.
Breathe.
There she is.
Breathe.
This way, Kate. Look this way, Kate. Give me an okay sign. Give me an okay sign.
Oh, and she is hypoxic on this dive.
Probably.
I imagine the
Nerves.
stress got to her.
Stress
Yes,
probably.
yes,
Yeah.
That was a really hard dive. And 98 in the World Championship is really, really hard.
Yes.
And it wasn't like even though she turned early, it wasn't a shallow dive at all. She
No.
did still 93 meters at least, or like something
Still a
there.
very deep dive.
Still very
But
deep.
I mean,
dive.
stress has such a huge impact on a diver, and
Yeah.
that's what makes a lot of divers hypoxic on divers when they usually wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Good job, Kate. Go! Nobody clapped.
So, Alenka, tell us a little bit more about your experience here and today, and like you said, the nerves being that this is your big dive of the competition.
Yeah.
And so how are you able, do you think, to sort of set that aside, those nerves and anticipation, and having the deepest announcement?
Yeah, well, when I saw the start list yesterday, I was a little bit nervous when I saw that. But that was, let's be honest, that was the plan, you know. I was going for a gold medal, and I knew that 100 is a really strong dive, and I knew I am very strong. So
Did you think there was a chance Alessia was going to announce deeper than you?
Yeah, of course, because come on, she's a strong diver, so it wouldn't surprise me. But
somehow I was like 100, this is it. I can go 100, more than 100, no. So I stayed with 100. I was thinking also a little bit deeper, but I said no. I know, because I before I do some dives in the competition, I really like to do it in the training or in the competition before, especially because of the nerves. So I really feel strong then if I know that I did the dive already, and if the dive was really strong, then I know, like, okay, even if I'm nervous, I will do it.
Well, what do you think about your prospects now of going over 100 meters?
It's very open. It's very open.
You're open to the ideas.
I'm
open to it.
I'm very open to
Show to the camera what happened to your arm. Like, camera is there.
I'm trying to hiding, but
There.
now I
on
can.
on the
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
this
like-
is this is the price of going 100 meters.
So that was dragging, like it was touching the rope all the time.
Yeah. This is happening only here. I don't know why. Maybe because the rope is more kind of like
it's
rough.
Rough.
Yeah, never happened to me before. Like, because I really like
A little
to.
bit too loud. Sorry, we were talking too loud. Too loud.
I'm sorry.
No.
I really like to have the contact with the rope, even though we are attached with a lanyard. I always want to have this feeling that I am still on the rope.
That's
no
what we
matter
saw. Like we saw that you're not looking at the rope. Like when I dive, I look at the rope, so I just keep it in my eye, in a side,
Okay.
so I don't open my eyes completely. But we saw that you're actually facing other direction. So and then we saw your arm.
Yeah.
Well, I actually do the exact same thing, and I find it allows me to just close my eyes, zone out, and just relax more.
Yeah, exactly. This
Yeah.
is why I do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be relaxed. This is why I need to touch the rope, so I can really relax and I know, okay, I'm still on the rope, but I can close my eyes and I can just focus on equalization.
For sure.
Yeah.
Alexei was commenting that your style is very similar to your countryman Samo Durenko, and we'd like to know if that is something that you have decided to emulate, or if you've trained together.
That's like a Slovene school. Basically, to be honest, I saw his dive maybe a few years ago, and I was very surprised because he was, I think, the only one doing this. And 2 years ago, when I started, not even 2 years ago, when I started doing depth training, I tried and I found it very, very relaxed.
Yeah.
So
But the last 60 meters, you still did an air position.
yeah, I do that. So the thing is that when I turn, I don't want to do this movement too fast, because I kind of want to keep my mind in this relaxation state. And if I do this too soon, that I go immediately into this, okay, now I have to rush.
It's a big shock from the
It's a
free
big
fall,
shock,
which is
yeah.
complete relaxation,
Yeah.
to all right, go.
Yeah,
Right.
and I just want to keep this meditative state as long as possible, because it's a long dive.
It is.
And I'm sure I burn less oxygen, and I'm fast, I'm not slow. So if I was super slow, then probably I would change it.
Let's get back to Sayuri.
Sayuri, we have Sayuri on the blue line. Sayuri is doing her dive today, and her announced depth is 97 meters.
This would be a bronze medal dive if she does get it.
Yeah, and Sayuri is our current world record holder in no fins. She's extremely strong. You will see her do that dive in a few days. But she's been kind of concentrating on constant rate and free immersion, kind of catching up on those disciplines.
Well, I think once you set a world record in one discipline, it frees you up to extend yourself in the others.
Yeah.
Alright.
And she puts her arms pretty shallow compared to other previous divers.
Most of these divers will have alarms in their dive computers that let them know at specific depths. So maybe she had an alarm at that depth, and that's where she likes to put her arms by her side.
Right. But she still kicks
Relatively deep.
relatively deep, yeah.
She has a beautiful, beautiful free fall in a streamlined position. Or did I just speak too soon? No, she's
Sayuri is a really, really strong freediver. So I think only the equalization can be a matter here. Otherwise, she will do the dive, I'm sure.
Yeah. And she has some problems with the sinuses
Yeah.
from what we heard.
Oof, the sinuses. This is a
Yeah,
big. I also feel the sinuses even
Yeah.
today. So.
It can be the issue with when you're staying in a house or an apartment with air conditioning during
Oh,
a
yeah.
freediving competition.
Oh yeah. I don't use it at all.
It's better to sweat.
It's better to sweat and to drink a lot.
Oh yeah.
So she's coming to 90 meters and looks like equalization is working so far.
Well, she looks relaxed and happy. I think she's going to make it to the bottom. You can usually see signs of stress in a freediver when they're not going to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
go.
coming down right now.
And turn. She puts it in the hood, swims arms down positions 2, which is, I wouldn't say actually the first, if athlete swims with these positions, first 20-30 meters from the bottom, it's not too unusual because sometimes athlete wants to do it like for 10 meters, but then because of being relaxed and having narcose, he do it for 20 or 30 or 40 meters. Yeah. So she did it for 20 meters now, we can see, 17 meters. So a lot of the time, a freediver would keep his arms down to prevent the lung tension and being under such big pressure not to injure the lungs. She have a relaxed and
Very relaxing, very beautiful thing. But she's also got a background in swimming too, so you definitely see this swimming foundation coming through in a lot of the freedivers.
Yeah.
and her air position is relaxed too. That's one of the things actually. Alenka, you can work a little bit on it. Your air position is a bit tense, so the shoulder flexibility is important for freedivers.
A little tip here from our deepest man.
Yeah.
I very appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that you might want to listen to that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We were training together like 3 years ago in Croatia.
No, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago in Croatia. And I remember Alenka already then was planning to get to the world record, and
he was not so sure about it.
by
I
then
was doing
you were
50
60. You were
50.
50 meters.
50
Look at
meters.
Sayuri now.
But I
She's
didn't-
got her hands apart. She's just moving through
I
the
didn't
water.
say you would never do it.
No,
Actually, I
of
was.
course.
I said that motivation is the most important thing. If you have
Yeah.
motivation, you do anything you want.
Absolutely.
And we're just
She's
about to reach the
gliding.
surface.
She's gliding.
And here she
And-
comes.
and
There
she's
she
up.
is.
And she breathes. She
She
looks
looks
good.
good.
Come on, take the nose clip off. I'm okay. Okay.
Okay, that is
She's-
typical for Sayuri. Every time I have seen her dive, unless she early turns, she is like that on the surface.
Yeah.
Absolutely solid. The only thing that stops her, I think, is
Yeah.
those sinuses. Otherwise, she looks just like that on every dive and truly amazes me every
Yeah.
time. It's just, I know she'll be she was trying these deeper constant weight dives at Vertical Blue and was turning early. She was having some time.
White card.
Congratulations,
That's
Sayuri
white card.
Kishida, for the bronze medal.
Nice dive for Sayuri.
Good girl.
So the next will be Sofia Gomez.
Sofia Gomez.
96 meters, national record,
This will be
continental
a
record.
continental record for South America, Latin America, and for North America,
Yes.
it will be a Pan American record.
Yes, it is a Pan American record, yes.
Oh, I had kind of a long dive. 3:23. Okay.
She had a-
Alenka's just realizing what her dive time was.
Yeah, usually I'm a little bit faster, but today I was so strong on the way up that I just slowed it down.
Well,
and-
there was also, you did slow down a little bit to wave at the camera and blow us
blow
kisses.
kisses.
I did.
So
That
this
was for
takes
you guys.
time.
That
Now,
was
we
for you.
appreciate it.
We appreciate. Though it's risky, like when I see this behavior,
Yeah.
when somebody's waving to the camera, etc. For me, it's like, oh no, there are gonna be problems.
I
Because-
usually never do this, but today I felt
Yeah.
like so strong. I was like,
Yeah, but it sometimes shows like when you dive in deep, you have narcose. Some
Yeah.
like non-smart ideas
That's-
start to seem smart,
That's right, that's right, that's right.
and you start to just so many times I saw people get distracted with waving
Yes.
and then screwing their protocol
Yeah.
or getting a red card for being hypoxic.
I have
Gus-
so guys,
Gus-
don't do this, huh?
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
do this. That was
I did it
stupid.
myself too. I remember me like beginning freediving 2004, and I was doing static breath hold, and I was like a beginner freediver. I was 17 years old. It was Moscow Russian National Championship, and I was doing 4 minutes. At 4:30, I started to have big contractions, and my mom was saying to me, "Alexei, exit, like finish the breath hold," and I was just showing like, "No, I will not." I was like, showing the sign about the water. 10 seconds later, I blacked out.
Wow.
So that was like one of the things which taught me not to play with things around.
Yeah,
Celebrate
not
your
to-
dive
Not
before
to
it's
celebrate the
finished.
dive.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Gus, another
Yeah,
very strong
uh-uh.
diver, Gus from
Yes.
Dahab. No, he's not from Dahab. He's from.
He's almost from
He's
Dahab.
almost from Dahab. Yeah, our really
Hi,
good friend.
Gus.
Hello, Gus. He was showing Shaka 5 meters before the surface in our Russian National Championship in Dahab, and he did a very strong 90-meter free immersion dive. And he was very confident, showed Shaka, and then at the surface, because of narcosis, he also, instead of okay sign, he showed Shaka. He was like, "I'm okay." Oh, like, So he was, it was.
So keep the focus to the end, guys.
Keep the focus to the end.
Can I say hi to my family?
Of course.
Ciao Tjaši, ciao Remko, ciao Beba. Come čakam da pridem domov da proslavimo to. Okay.
I'm sure they're glad to hear from you and to see that beautiful dive and how strong you were and just confident and looking beautiful. I'm sure they're very excited for you.
Oh yes. You know the thing is that my sister, she's not talking to me right now because she knows that I need space. So she knows me very well, you know. I went to call her.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. I'm going to celebrate, guys.
Have a good time.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
See you later.
Beautiful dive.
See you later. And Sofia have about 30 seconds before her official top. And
She's right there, right next to Sofia is her coach Jonathan Sunix.
he touches her hand, probably trying to
Do you know actually?
support her.
A few days ago in training, I have the same coloured wetsuit that Sophie does, and he swam over to me thinking that I was Sophie, and he touched my hand,
Really?
and I squeezed back.
Well, you'd think the beard would be an indication maybe that you're not Sophia.
Well, my face was in the water at the time, and things can get confusing out there.
So Sophia is one of our ladies who has been able to use her freediving to promote herself in her country, Colombia, and has become quite a well-known model.
She's made freediving very popular in Colombia.
She has.
Yeah. She starts to
Ready?
pack.
There goes the noodle. Johnny grabs the noodle.
So this packing moment is actually tricky because sometimes athletes can become dizzy, packing extra air, packing too much extra air.
So speaking of packing, let's explain what that is. We may have a lot of people here watching, and we had a discussion the other day about whether one should or should not pack. But maybe you can tell our viewers exactly what packing is.
Packing is getting extra air into the lungs. It's a special freediving technique. It is a dangerous technique. You would never want to try it, being not a competitive athlete, because it can damage the lungs because of extra air. It definitely helps to equalize a little bit deeper, but it is not necessary technique till like for the first 60-70 meters, let's say 50 meters, 60. And she's at 40 meters and she started to glide, and the first part looked really relaxed.
She looks very relaxed, and like a few other athletes, she's got her hand pressed up against her lips to assist in her equalization, so she can hold more air in her mouth for a larger mouthfeel.
And mouthfeel, if somebody don't know what mouthfeel is, it's a technique. It's a Frenzel technique modified by Eric Fata, a very famous freediver from Canada. So it's also called Frenzel Fata technique. And it's getting a lot of air at the shallower depth in the mouth and using it to equalize deeper than you would be able to do without it.
And why is that necessary? Why is it necessary to take air in early?
Because it's very hard to get it at depth, to get this air.
You lose access to the air that's in your lungs.
Yeah. It's pretty solid.
She looks incredible. She had a really great, beautiful free fall.
Oh, there she is at the bottom. That's excellent.
And up she goes, arms by the side for the initial part of the descent.
And she looked pretty relaxed and have very good technique. And the arms up at 80 meters as well. So
seems to be a very common theme with the women.
Yeah.
Sophia was a quite successful fin swimmer. She's very strong. So this kick comes natural to her from fin swimming. She's been doing it for a long time. So it may be that part of her technique is that this isn't difficult for her. And guess what? We've got Alessia Zucchini joining us now. But Alessia, please slide in and sit next to Alexi.
You can see that actually for her, you can see why she was a fin swimmer before. You can see the reverse kick.
Yes.
Most of the athletes don't have the reverse kick when you push backwards. So she have front kick, she have reverse kick, and even though now she started to be tired,
you can definitely see the fatigue in her finning.
Yeah, but she's still very solid and beautiful
Very
technique.
strong.
And look at the air position. Air position is amazing.
Yes. Locked in and relaxed.
Yeah.
And here we are. She's about the surface, 10 meters below the surface now.
She looks up.
And she is breathing. Oh.
Yeah.
She's rushing.
She did a very fast surface
Very
protocol.
fast.
And she's
happy.
celebrating already.
She's celebrating, yeah.
She's happy.
She's happy. Strong, very strong dive by Sofia.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's so nice to see those emotions when athlete surfaces. I would say we would need to change the rules just for that. Yeah, we would want.
Congratulations, Sophie Gomez.
Athlete to be happy and say whatever he wants at the surface. Like, yeah, I did it.
So barring any sort of after complications with review by the judges of the bottom footage, that will be a Pan-American record, and that is huge for us.
Yeah.
Welcome, Alessia. Congratulations on a stunningly beautiful dive.
Beautiful dive.
Tell us about how that felt.
How was your elbow now? We were like commenting on your elbow a lot about the air position.
It's so comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like no pain, nothing.
Now is the maximum. But
Okay.
Yeah, I hope for the no fins will be better.
Okay, let's hope. Let's hope for that. But it was beautiful style. We were enjoying your really fluent technique and small. Like it looks really relaxed and nice.
It's so beautiful. My monofin is so soft, so it's easy.
Nice.
And whose monofin is that? We'll give a little plug
Starfin.
here.
It's a starfin. Yeah, she has starfin.
Yeah, so soft. Only two.
Yet she haven't yet.
She
Maybe she hasn't motion yet.
And that's all. My team is swimming all
Yeah. Italians have very strong tradition with their fin swimming, and they have really good school for fin swimming as well.
I like it.
Well, it certainly looked like that was an easy dive for you. Were you feeling stressed, or did you feel more relaxed this time?
I have a plan.
You got a plan.
Which plan is it?
All right.
What was the
well,
plan?
He doesn't. Maybe I get a feeling it's a secret plan.
You can tell us now. Like the competition is over.
No one will see this.
No one will. We will not tell anyone.
Steve said me what I have to
We
do.
should do. Right.
So
So you followed.
That's nice. Yeah, her coach Steve Keenan has given her a plan, and she's going to follow through for Steve, and that's a lovely thing to do. I think you're just looking beautiful in this competition, and we're so happy for you, and just so proud of you for what you've been able to do. And you know, Vertical Blue was kind of a struggle because you had really strong feelings coming in and aspirations, and I think that there was a lot of pressure on you all the way around. And it's nice to see like this dive today looked much more relaxed. It was really nice, really nice.
Good job. Very good.
Alex, who do we have coming up here on our next diver, the white platform?
Tomoka. We should have Tomoka.
Tomoka.
In 2 minutes. Tomoka Fukuda, 94 meters, 3-minute dive time.
Now, this is one meter below her PB, as far as I'm aware.
1 meter deeper, or
I think she'd done 95.
I thought she did
96 more, maybe.
96 as well. Well, so it should be very close to her PB, which is still
Last year in Vertical Blue.
last year very good.
Yeah.
I was not there. At this time, I was.
Last year, I don't think she made that dive, but I'm not certain. I don't remember.
I remember 96. No.
You remember 96? You should know better because you follow.
You probably paying
but
attention.
You're paying attention to the girl competitors.
This year at Vertical Blue, she was having some health issues and left early and didn't get to complete. But the previous year, she was. She had some
doing
good
very
dives.
well.
Yeah, this year she got a cold or something. And
Yeah. Well, last year I missed it because I was doing proposal to my wife now, so I don't know anything.
One week before the competition.
1 week before the competition, I cancelled.
I decided to get married instead.
Family is more important.
Yes, but why 1 week before? No more.
That's love. What can you do?
Okay.
If you like Vertical Blue or
getting married.
of course getting married.
Of course.
Of course.
But
There's
why in the
Vertical
same
Blue.
period?
There is competition every year.
Yeah, of course, but why in the same period?
It just so it happened. It just so happened. I proposed 3 weeks after we met, basically.
Okay.
That's why.
That's why.
This is you wouldn't pick it, but Alex is a very big romantic.
Yes.
And Adam as well. He was telling me stories how he proposed, and that was very romantic too. So freedivers are very romantic people in general.
We feel very deeply.
We have very deep sense. We are very affectionate. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to Tomoka. It's official top now, and her fin is very beautiful. Look at how shiny it is.
A Molchanov fin, Alex.
I think it looks like
It
so.
looks like one of those beautiful Molchanov monofins.
Okay, we need to stop that. Otherwise, it will be too much.
Here we go. She's off.
Hated by spectators. Okay.
Start.
The start, the turn, and
Here she goes. The Tomoka has a beautiful
technique.
Yeah.
And she's a model as well in Japan.
Yes.
She's very famous in Japan as
Yes.
like a model. And we can see like the good style. Like so for good style, I'll give you the points. Like she have really good hydrodynamic position, and even though her leg amplitude was really big, her arms were really stable. That shows a really high style. When your arms are really stable and arms
Wasn't
don't
rocking
move,
at all.
wasn't rocking at all. And if your legs are pushing, like have a really good amplitude, that means that you have very good body like coordination.
What with the on the nose?
A lot of athletes hold the nose to help with the mouthfeel.
I think they're actually holding the lips
hold the lips.
most of the time. They take
Yeah.
a big mouthful and they put their hands at
And
the.
she held it again, so I think that might be some or deep refill,
Yes.
and that's like, in my opinion, that just means that there's more chances to have problems with equalization if you do
Absolutely.
deep refills, etc., etc.
I think it probably demonstrates not quite a mastery of the mouthfeel technique.
Right, but we could, maybe this is stuff she likes.
That's true as well. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
so-
hard to say someone doesn't have a mastery of mouthful when they're diving to 94 meters.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. And it seems like she's getting there, so it's
Yep,
really,
she's
really
gonna make
good.
it.
Up.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. And she started jump, and she was a bit unbalanced at the bottom. I do remember that I think in Bahamas there was actually some ear problem there, so
Yeah.
some ear problem in Bahamas. So that just shows that 94 meters is very big depth, and you have always risks of not only lumbar trauma but also ear trauma.
Absolutely. She's
And
coming up very nice and slowly, like taking her time,
Beautiful
not
technique.
rushing.
And a beautiful technique. yeah.
Beautiful technique.
Very stable arms, very good in wide amplitude with their legs.
Like you were saying about
Please,
Sofia's
Sofia.
beautiful back kick, it
Underwater.
seems like Tomoko also has a very nice back kick.
Yeah, yeah. It's 48 meters, 50 meters, and
And she'll be joined by the safeties any second now.
we should remind that she had actually she was a bit hypoxic on a free immersion dive
That's true on
a
her
couple
80
of days
meter free
ago.
motion.
So it's interesting how that would affect her today's dive. If she have some thinking now going on in her head, like being a bit more nervous because of that.
That's true, it can affect
But
that.
it looks good. It looks good, but it's
She
always a
also-
game of mind.
Yes, that's right. But free motion is not her
Strong.
her discipline that she trains.
And the dive time it looks like she'll be 3 minutes and a little bit, which is a good dive time for a
great dive
girl.
time.
For
Yeah, so fast.
3 minutes, 10 meters to the surface. And let's see the surfacing. Breathe first, breathe first. Rushing again,
She
rushing
is
again.
wanting to do this fast.
Breathe.
And
And there seemed like there was a deep
it seems like she dipped her airways. And the
rushing.
safeties have held her up.
Rush is never good. She fluked fine. I think the major contribution was being in a rush.
She was definitely in a rush to complete her service protocol.
Yeah. And that, and that's there are a little bit of waves too, so that makes it a bit harder to recover. The platform is bouncing from the waves, so it's never too easy for the athlete to breathe in these conditions. So that might be the reason for the lip deep of the lip. Yeah.
She stayed in the same spot?
Yeah, and Johnny says she definitely stayed on the same spot. So the dip of the mouth was mainly because of their waves and the rocking of the platform. It's so pity to see athletes having more difficulties just because of the platform, because of that. We need to think, Johnny, we need to think about the ways to balance the platform so it's not affected by waves. Like maybe put some balancers under the platform, make it super heavy.
Well, it could be this one is much narrower compared to the other ones is longer, so you get less distance in the rock.
Right, yeah. Or just like think about some engineering solution to make it not rock, make it like very heavy and stable in the water. Yeah. Have a good recovery. Go rest.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Prepare for the
Yes,
no-fins.
Lovely dive. We've got Jonathan Sunex joining us now.
Coach of
Sofia
Sofia.
Gomez, who just had a very successful dive. She looked like she was quite excited about that, Johnny.
She's quite excited, yeah. Big smile.
Pan American record,
Yeah.
which is fabulous, and she just looked beautiful. And we'll get Sofia as soon as she's done breathing. We'll have her come join us and give us some thoughts on that. Unfortunate dive for Tomoka. It looked like she almost had it, but maybe just didn't get in enough recovery breathing, or what would you say?
I think maybe louder coaching
Louder
and having
coaching.
the coach position themselves in the right position. Because again, the coach was sort of off to the side. Little trick that I like to use is to position myself next to the judge, where the athlete needs to be.
But
looking.
also, it's like a coach can help, of course. But if athlete is in a rush and like a bit hypoxic and that, it makes it hard. It makes it like.
Yeah, I agree. To me, what it looked like though, she was a little confused with the instructions.
Yeah.
The
Like
instructions
she was
were-
listening, but she wasn't quite sure what she was hearing.
Right. Yeah, well, let's leave it.
Maybe we can get them over up for some comments afterwards.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get some of it.
Find out. Coming up now on the blue platform, we have another Japanese competitor, Masuzu Okamoto. And Masuzu is getting ready for her dive. Masuzu is probably the sort of the leader of the Japanese team, I would say. She's been competing the longest. She's got a lot of experience, and she was their deepest diver for a number of years. And now she's got some girls coming up behind her who've proven to be very strong. What do you have to say about Mimi for us today?
Well, I guess Mimi, paved the way for the other Japanese girls, and you can see like how your mum did for the women, like make people realize what is possible, you know. So without the people that come before them, then what the divers do afterwards is it's made easier for them, basically.
Well, Mimi is very strong. She also has just a very nice demeanor and way about her. She's well liked by everyone, and I'm sure she's been an excellent role model for the young women in Japan. Something they'd like to emulate as a good sportswoman and competitor.
And she was actually very late to the sport, I think, and late to swimming.
Yes. Yes.
She couldn't swim for many years. Do you know a little more on this?
I do know, because I competed against her in vertical blue, and she was trying to learn how to do no fins because she couldn't swim. I mean, couldn't swim at all. And she wanted to try to, in vertical blue, where there's an all-around prize, you need to be able to do a CMF dive, and it was difficult for her because she can't swim. So I still don't think she's an accomplished swimmer or enjoys it. But
you put a monophone on her feet,
and
and
there she goes. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
She's getting ready to go now. She's announced
90 meters. Really deep dive, and it's official top now.
She's had some troubles with equalization. She did it at vertical blue. If so, she turns early. It seems like one of her ears will get stuck sometimes. So let's hope she can make it and her ears are clear today.
It was an interesting turn on the surface. She lifted her arms up and rotated on the surface with the arms up, which is interesting. Maybe she used it to pack more air, also lifting her arms. Even
an interesting thing about Misuzu is she dives very light, which we see a lot of the guys, yourself, Alexei, not using any weight, but for the women with a different body composition, it tends to make them even more buoyant. So I think we'll see that Misuzu swims a long way down.
But look at the time, 20 seconds, 40 meters almost. Their speed is incredible. It's like super fast.
But very active, and like we see that equalization is one of her issues, but she's still swimming at 52 meters. So
let's hope this goes.
So maybe swimming slower would help with equalization for her. That could be one of their suggestions. And
less active, less CO2 build-up, you know.
Yeah. Arms down, 70 meters.
Still swimming, and now she's settled into her freefall.
It seems she's handling equalization really well. 85. She's relaxed.
Yeah, she's been diving below 90 meters for many years now, and she's at the plate.
Oh, that's great. Good. That's nice
Super
to see
fast.
that.
Super fast.
Could have kept on going. 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's incredible. So, what do you think of her technique, Alexei?
Technique is pretty stable. You can see arms are rocking a little bit, but still her arms are. Oh, now she's starting to get more movement in the arms. So she has two ways kick, forward and backwards. So this is good. This is efficient. The only thing, like the back could be a little bit like more relaxed to allow the arms to stay more stable. But in general, it looks good. It looks beautiful.
Okay, good. She's making good time. Yeah. Now above 50 meters.
And it didn't look like she was rushing, and it looked quite effortless. This speed looked quite effortless.
In the time that I've known her, I've never seen her arrive hypoxic to the surface. So
yeah,
Yeah, she either turns early for equalization or she makes it. That's what I've always seen. So
And she slows down, start to free glide a little bit more.
She's still maintaining good technique. Maybe a slightly slower rhythm now. You see there's very little knee bend. She knows the surface is approaching. She's gliding the final few meters. One last kick, I think. Nope. There she comes.
I would say she should be very fresh. Easy.
Very good.
Easy.
Beautiful protocol.
5 seconds.
She has a tag.
She has a tag. It's so nice to hear Japanese athletes speaking to each other all the time. It's like so cartoon-like, especially when they coach each other. White card.
White card.
Good job.
So that should be enough for 5th place for me, Susan.
Something like
that's
that.
very nice. And we have new Pan American record holder
Sofia
Gomez visiting us right now.
Tell us, Sofia, how was it? How was the nerves before the dive?
No, today I wasn't that nervous because what I did yesterday was that I didn't look at anyone else's announcement. I just saw what time I had my dive and I didn't know what anyone else was going to do, so I was like just focusing on my dive. And I just thought, okay, this is an open line. If I don't make it to the bottom, it's okay. But if I make it, okay, I'm gonna be really happy. And I did it, and I felt really strong when I got to the bottom. I got my tag. I was feeling really, really good and really happy.
Did you think at the bottom when it turned, like, yeah, I did it? Or you tried to hold it to the surface?
No, I knew that I had it when I got
you had it?
Yeah. For me, constant weight, the hardest part is going down. If I go to the bottom, I know I'm 90% sure that I have it. But today I was
still
100%.
10%.
Yeah, no, but today I was 100%
100%.
sure. Like, I got this. It's really nice.
Okay.
And it, like for me today, doesn't matter that I didn't get a medal. This was a personal best for me, and we've been working really hard to go past 90 meters this last year, and it's really nice to have done 4 dives now below 90 meters, like no problem. So it's really nice.
Right.
And to set a personal best in competition is also it's not the first time you've done it, but it's it's World Championships, and it's it just shows that maybe we're starting to reach a new level with your diving.
Yeah.
Well, and I think your attitude is great about focusing on your dive, and whatever gets you, that's where you are, and with a personal best, and not worrying about the other divers. When you get all that in your head, I got to get a medal in this, then you end up defeating yourself before you even get out there. You put all this pressure on yourself to be nervous, and you got to realize you've got the world record here holder right competing with you. You also have Alenka, who we've been watching, so strong.
Yeah, super strong.
So if you get yourself all caught up in all that, I just think your attitude is just perfect. It's just great, and obviously very successful for you today.
Yeah, I'm really happy, and I already have a medal, so I don't have to worry about it.
Good, very good job, very good job.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
So coming up next, we are going to be on
Jennifer
Wendland, the German national record holder. She's been diving really well the last couple of years, and she's been training in Egypt with the Germans and quite a few Europeans, and she's become very, very strong. And do you know her from training, LIC?
I saw her training in Dahab in Blue Hole, but we didn't never train together. But she was, she looked very, very motivated and progressing really consistently.
She has been diving really well since she's arrived. Like. Consistently getting white cards and clean performances, and she's staying with Alenka, so I'm sure that that's having an effect on her.
Right. So there is like another powerhouse number two.
Number two.
Right.
Yeah. Adam says he lives in the powerhouse, and I think the girls might have
That's
something to say
the
about
powerhouse. We can just actually explain what's the powerhouse. It's
the only people that think it's the powerhouse is yourself and Adam.
No, it's me, Adam, Michael Ward, and Kate Middleton.
Okay.
And my wife, who is Olympic swimmer. So it's a real powerhouse. Okay, 30 seconds before official top. And she actually getting ready to dive face down. That's very unusual. You rarely see it. 20 seconds.
Perhaps she enjoys the sensations of the snorkel breathing, helps her relax.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that and the CO2 that's kind of can kind of
You need to breathe deeper with a snorkel to ventilate this dead space, like air in the snorkel, but it's probably like an extra 200 milliliters of, maybe less, depends on the snorkel. And CO2 is actually good. CO2 makes it safe. You want to breathe more, but there's less chances to hyperventilate.
Stronger dive reflex.
And it's national record for her, so even though it's 84 meters, it's still very deep. And
yeah, it must be close to 250 feet.
Yes.
So 250 feet.
We've become, these women have just increased these depths so exponentially just recently. You know, now we hear 80 some meters and we don't think much of it. A year and a half ago, that would have just been
medalists. There'll be medals.
Yeah. But we've just recently had this huge jump in these women becoming so successful with these depths. I asked Alexi about that earlier as to what he thinks the reason is. And it just seems like we've kind of crossed that barrier. I think it was kind of a mental one almost. It just seemed like 100 meters seemed rather daunting, you know, and as Johnny was saying, that is, you know, over 300 feet in imperial terms, but and that sounds like a lot. And journalists will frequently ask us in the U.S., well, how many feet is that? And it sounds like a lot deeper when you say 300 instead of 100 meters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just really sort of a milestone to have that breakthrough.
And education is getting up there, and you know, there's more and more people diving deeper, and more instructors who know how to teach deep diving.
So now she's getting ready to turn 77, and
she's pulling up early. She's coming up.
Probably equalization. You can see a couple of meters before the turn the arm movements, like so there was no obvious signs of having problems, but
it's an internal thing.
Also, it might be just not even equalization. It might be just also some nerves, like knowing that it's national record. And Jennifer it's like one of her, like she's new to the top. Like she was not competing for many years yet, so she have not so much experience, and she's obviously a very strong diver. And if she continues, we'll surely see her on the top of the competition.
There's definitely an element of competing in the World Championships. Just that title alone is enough to unsettle you a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. And like this point was proven the other day with the men's free immersion.
Yeah.
You know, the conditions were great. The conditions were like this, and there was nearly 50% of the competitors who
failed.
Yeah.
Some one way or another they failed their dive. Yes. I
took the nose clip early. That's interesting. Like she took the nose clip before the surface, 10 meters before the surface.
Okay, so that means she's only got to remove her goggles. She gave the okay sign.
She did quickly. She was super quick.
I think she probably has, since she turned early, she's probably not real pleased that she did that right now. But it could have been equalization, and the consequences of diving past the point where you can clear your ears can be ear damage between the inner ear, the eardrum, sinuses, all kinds of different things can happen. So oftentimes the diver will make the choice to turn early because they want to make sure that they're not going to burst an eardrum.
Yeah.
If you do, you are out for several days, weeks, in order for that to heal. So
yeah, that's right.
Sometimes it's a precaution in order to just decide, well, okay, not today. It's not happening for me, and I want to save my ears for my next dive.
For those of you at home, yeah, it's always better to turn early and to try again another day than to try and ride those ears out and try and leach out those last couple of meters.
Yeah, and there's no embarrassment in turning early. That's just something that you make as a choice. It can be a very prudent one.
Yeah, it shows maturity of sportsmen.
Yeah.
If you can turn early, it's a bit hard to turn, and if you ride your ears, you're risking damage them, but some athletes still do it. Oh, this is for me, or no? There was some Alex calls, but no. Yeah. So yeah, shows that she did a really good decision at the bottom.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So, and she.
Free diving isn't a sport like rugby or gridiron where you
No.
can put the body on the line.
No,
You know, you
no.
really do have to listen to what's going on. And
Yeah, because if you do damage something, even with a sinus squeeze, which isn't as serious really, but I've had them before, they are so painful. If you get a squeeze up here and you can't equalize and you keep trying to, it hurts so bad
Yeah.
that it's just,
and it can sit you up for several days,
it can,
weeks. Yeah.
it can. It really is something that, and it's frustrating for those of us because, you know, you want to dive, but you can't because your body's just not cooperating, and it's just something that sometimes you have to contend with. You may have a physiological reason for it, like allergies can cause a lot of trouble because you've got all this congestion going on, and it's some things that we have to work out as we're learning and progressing in our diving.
Now, Alexa, you've been diving deep for many years. Did equalization come naturally to you, or?
Not in the first couple of years. In the first couple of years, I was doing.
How old were you in the first couple of years?
2004. I was 17 years old, 18 years old. I was doing like any style which worked. So it was probably a mix of Frenzel and Valsalva or something like that. Or like.
You can Google those two terms, Frenzel,
Yeah.
Valsalva, and see what those are. They're a little bit hard to describe. There's different ways to clear the ears, but you can look that up.
Yeah. Or take a course with some good instructor
Yes, good
around.
instructors.
That's important.
Johnny is one of our resident equalization experts, and he can teach you all kinds of tricks, and there's different ways to practice to learn how to equalize.
Yeah. And what was the year? 2005 when I learned Frenzel Fata. That was 2005, and after that, I was progressing pretty smoothly. I wouldn't say I had problems with the Frenzel Fata, like for the deep equalization. It was more limited by like lung flexibility, chest flexibility, narcosis or hypoxia. And
What sort of depths were you diving in these first years? So this is a bit of a freediving history for everyone. You know?
I dove without this mouthful technique till 73, and then when I learned it, I was doing like immediately 80, 90 after that. So when I was 20 years old, like 21, when I was 21 years old, 2008, that's when I did more than 100 meters. So I remember 2008, I did a 101 meter dive.
And you were 21 years old.
I was 21 years
So
old.
that's, you've got to be possibly the youngest of all time to have been diving 200 meters.
Yeah. But it doesn't really matter. Now I'm sure there are young guys who can dive deeper to 100 meters, but by this time probably I was one of the youngest to dive 100 meters.
So now that we're on this subject, we do have Sofia Tapani coming up on the white platform. She's from Sweden. She's announced a dive of 77 meters, but let's see what's happening here. She's getting ready, but start thinking about the answer to this question, which I'm going to pose now. What are our predictions for tomorrow? Alexi's going to be doing a dive in constant rate, and Johnny can comment on what he thinks is going to be happening with our cast of characters that will be coming out. Are we going to see the same sort of mixed bag of results that we saw in men's free immersion, or do you think we'll be more solid tomorrow?
I'd like to think everyone's going to be more solid. I'm optimistic. Yeah, I mean, we've had good conditions for the last several days, and hopefully this continues because the weather can really have an effect on how people dive.
Monofin affects less than any other discipline.
Yeah, you've got a little bit more room for error, but then it's going to also come down to who's going to dive conservatively and who's going to push their limits. Because if you dive conservatively, then if there's a little bit of current, then you're okay. If there's no current, then you can push to your max. So.
Sofia's getting ready to go now. Sofia's a scientist. She hails from Sweden, as I said. So she is a part-time freediver. Some of our freedivers actually are instructors and pretty much work at it full-time. Sofia does have a real job. And so she's enjoying being here and enjoying the warm weather, I'm sure. What do we think about her technique today, Johnny and Alexi?
It's a good technique. There is no much knee kicking. There is like almost not at all. It looks pretty. Actually, it's fast. She's very streamlined. She's deeper than 40 meters now. It's 40 seconds, so she's very fast. And her position is very streamlined. Legs straight,
nice
arms straight. She holds the carabiner of the lanyard. You can see that she holds the carabiner of the lanyard, which might slow down the athlete a little bit. But it keeps freediver very close to the line, which is comforting. You know that you're right next to the line.
And her average speed is still faster than 1 meter per second. So
it's all right. Yeah.
Oops. Oh, what was that?
Equalization.
Oh, she knew she was close and she pushed it a bit. She's coming up strong. So now we see she's coming up with her arms by her side. A little less hydrodynamic, but perhaps she's doing it to help protect her chest a little. A little bit more of a knee bend, and she's actively using the quadriceps. She started to slow down the frequency of the stroke. And if you see, the fin is working almost entirely on the front kick.
Yeah.
So what you might see from guys like Alexei is that the fin is working in both directions. So he's working both his quadriceps and his
back surface of the leg, like calf and biceps of the leg and everything, and feet helps a lot. Arms up.
So she's looking good.
Here comes Sofia, breaking the surface now.
Okay, and that's a very nice surface protocol. So I'm sure she's pretty happy with the dive. She probably frustrated she had to pull up early, but it was a strong performance.
It was close to the bottom.
Yeah.
It was a couple of meters off the bottom, so that's...
She should still end up with like 71, 72 points, I would imagine.
Waiting for the judge's decision, see what they say about that. We know it at the least it's a yellow card because she did turn early. There's no possibility of getting anything better than that. It is a yellow card.
Yellow
indeed.
card.
So getting back to tomorrow's competition with the men, just to give you all some insight into who we have here competing. We have Alexei, as you know, who's sitting next to Johnny on the other side. Johnny's also a very deep diver, but he is not competing in this competition. He's here as his coach and Sofia. He's a altruistic kind of guy. He's giving his own efforts into coaching her instead of making his own dives this time around, but we hope to see him back competing again soon. We've got
doing the 110 meter dive.
Yeah, 110 meter dive. Yeah, he is an excellent diver.
Johnny the Deep, that was the
Johnny
that
Deep.
was the do you remember that was their name? I was given to you and you then so copyright. Where's my copyright?
You want the credit for that?
I want the credit for that. Johnny the Deep.
It's actually been around for many years, and you weren't the only one to give me that.
No, I was the first one to give you that. I think that was the like in the beginning.
When did you give me this? Because I had this, I think, from before.
No. Anyways,
but if you want it, you can have it, Alexei. We can give you all the credit.
I'm just kidding. It's just fun.
Yeah, we also have on our start list tomorrow William Trubridge and William Trubridge and Dave Mullins, who only appears infrequently, comes out of the...
He's a bit of an anomaly.
He is deep down under. He's come out of New Zealand to compete. And we'll be interested to see what Dave, his personal best is 125 meters, so...
maybe Johnny,
Kalamata.
as a colleague and New Zealander, can tell us more about David's training so far. How was the David training?
He's always very secretive, but I just remember the dive he did in Kalamata at 125. That was so strong, I was just amazed. But then when it came down to the competition, he was having trouble equalizing and couldn't make the dive. So
yeah, well, he has been having some equalization issues, and this is one of the things with arriving not very long before a competition and not training regularly with depth. But I guess we'll see what he can do on the day, and I don't know. How do you feel, Alexei? Does it make you nervous having competition?
I really like Dave as a competitor, and I really wish him to have more days of practice to have a better equalization. And that'll, if he dives, I want him to dive deeper. So there is some competition. So there is some challenge and competition. That's for sure.
Because I feel like from what I've seen of you, Alexei, over the last few years, is that you made the world record and you can, I believe, go much further. But you need the competition. You need someone else to take that record off.
Yeah, why should you bother when no one's close right now? So,
Well, it gives me some time to focus on other disciplines. So I surprisingly
you've done really well there.
Surprisingly, I made it to the world record limit with the free immersion, 124, and there was a surprise for me. And I did it only because I had some time off my main discipline. And so I wish all the best to David. I don't know how much he will announce, but I would say maybe something like below 125, probably because of equalization so far in the competition or in the training before this, before today.
You're keeping tabs?
Yeah, before. Well, it's not that secret. We train together. It's like I don't think there was a deeper dive than 115 for him so far. So that'll be gambling if he would do more than 125 and stuff. 120 even, 120. But he's a very strong diver. He has very strong hypoxia resistance. He can hold his breath for a long time, swim very far. And
he had the dynamic record, and I believe you took it off him.
He had a dynamic record, 248 meters. It was
2009?
2008, yeah.
And he had the dynamic no fins record when it was an interesting point rules-wise. He had the dynamic no fins record for a number of years as the longest swim in no fins, but
it was
when
national record.
It was a national record. It was longer than the world record because when it was judged, there was not a high enough level judge there to verify it as a world record. Unfortunate, but it was there for years, and it took a long time for Matt Molina to be able to break that record and actually increase it so that the national record of New Zealand was not more than the world record.
Yeah, it was like 8 years or 7 years.
Yeah,
like
it was a very long
or maybe
time.
7.
And I know Matt, that was really on his mind, that he felt like he was the world record holder, but yet there was this other dive looming out there that was further than his. So I know he was very pleased when he finally broke that. And when he broke it, he broke it quite strongly. So that has.
Also, we have tomorrow. Oh, we have Carrie getting ready to dive.
We have Carrie Hollowell coming up now on the blue platform. Dr. Carrie Hollowell from the United States.
The boat is coming.
Dr. Okay. Alexi's going to be
off to prepare for the competition.
Yeah, he's got to get ready for tomorrow. Carrie's getting ready to go. Carrie's announced a dive of 73 meters.
I'm going to leave you to it.
Okay, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll see you guys out here tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Johnny's leading me too. He's going to go back and take care of Sofia and do other business that he needs to attend to. Carrie is off. I started to say that Carrie is a doctor. She's an emergency physician. She's also our resident expert on lung squeeze. Carrie has done a lot of research on lung squeeze. She's helped us a lot with trying to help our athletes deal with possibilities. I've got Sayuri just sitting in now, and congratulations on a very nice, beautiful dive. It looked easy. And Miss Suzu's going to come join us too. We have our two lovely Japanese ladies joining us here. We're just watching Carrie Holloway. Carrie dive now. Carrie's on the line. I know you both know Carrie. She's now 50. She's announced a 73-meter dive. Carrie has been struggling through the years. Part of it is because as an emergency room physician, she has a very stressful life and very busy, and I think it's hard for her to switch gears and come out here and relax. And the whole time she's here, we've got freedivers asking her questions about, I hurt here, or she's having a little trouble, but she's at the plate. There she goes. She's got her tag. Putting the tag in the hood and coming back up. But if she can make this dive, she will be so excited, and we would be so excited for her. So she's coming up. What do you think about her technique, girls? Any comments on what you see here?
Her free fall is so straight and looks relaxed.
Today I feel some current.
A little current today. Did you feel a little current today? Both of you ladies look very good, strong on your dives, though. They looked very good. We couldn't see that there was any indication of a problem, but you're feeling a little bit of current down there today. And here comes our first safety. Let's hope Carrie can make this dive. I'm sure she's relieved to see that safety. It's always a good feeling when you see that you're almost there.
I always try to smile to safety.
Oh, I'm sure they enjoy that. And here comes Carrie. She's almost there.
Feel tired.
A little bit tired. Yeah, kind of a big knee kick there. Yeah. And here she comes. Let's see.
Sign.
Signal. Say it.
Okay.
Okay. Strong coaching can be very important, especially if you're a little nervous and a little hypoxic. A strong coach with a nice, strong voice can be very helpful. I think in that case, that was very good for Carrie. Needed someone there to help her through that. It's amazing. You can come up sometime and your head just isn't there, There, nice dive. White card for Carrie. Congratulations to Carrie. So Sayuri, tell us a little bit about your dive today.
Today, it was so nice.
Aww.
I was worried about my sinus again,
Yeah.
but I was sure that I could do.
Oh, good, good.
And I was really very relaxed.
Good.
So my dive was a little bit long, more than before. 3:30 around.
Yeah.
It's very long.
I told our viewers while you were diving that you are a current world record holder in the no fins, which we'll be seeing in a few days. It's our last event of the competition, and that is your specialty. But since you've attained the world record, it's kind of giving you a chance to focus on the two other disciplines because you've already got one under your belt, and now you're working on the others. Is that sort of what your idea is for that? Yeah. Very nice. And Mimi, tell us about your dive today.
Today, very happy. Too easy.
Easy. Very easy. It looked easy. I was telling everyone that at Vertical Blue that you were struggling with some equalization issues and some things over the years, and I also told them that in your case, if you make it to the plate, I'm almost 100% sure you're going to get a white card. It's just whether or not you can keep your ears cooperating with you, because the only time I've ever seen you not make it is if you early turn, and that's because something's wrong with your ears. So, but every other time, if you make it and you come to the surface, you're always very strong, as you were today. So I was glad to see that it all went well and those ears were behaving themselves.
I'm happy.
We are so happy.
Arigato.
We're missing our third member of this trio. Well, actually, we have Tomoka as well. Tomoka didn't make her dive, unfortunately, but Hanako didn't make this trip. Can you tell us why Hanako didn't come?
We know why.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe she's watching.
I hope Hanako's watching. We're certainly missing you, Hanako. So it's too bad. We wish she was here with us
Maybe next
today.
year.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be great to see her again. She had a really great competition at Vertical Blue. And for those of you who don't know, Vertical Blue is a competition we have in the spring. It's in the Bahamas in Dean's Blue Hole. It's hosted by William Trubridge. William Trubridge, who is competing here, he's a world record holder in two disciplines currently, no fins and free immersion. And miraculously enough, which always amazes me, William is able to compete and organize in the same competition. And organization is extremely difficult, but William somehow is able to do it and put on a competition which we all really like. Dean's Blue Hole has no current ever, so we all know we can make successful dives there. This is where Sayuri had gotten her world record, and Mimi's had some very successful dives there as well. Alexa got a world record there. We've had numerous world records in that location due to the fact that there's no current. So here we go now over on the next platform. On the white we have Anna von Bodicher of Germany. She's going to be trying a 71-meter dive. Anna's been focusing on no fins, so I don't know how much she's been training this. She's probably just going to see what she can do.
Now she's trained with nose clip.
She's switched over to a nose clip.
So 71 is easy for her, but with nose clip,
it's a new thing. Something every time you change something, it adds a little more difficulty to it until you get used to it. Then it becomes easier again. So Anna's been competing for quite a few years. She's a very strong competitor. She's a technical diver. She teaches technical diving. She's owns a bookstore in Germany. That's what her job is. But she is in Egypt frequently training. She has a world record currently in tandem no limits, which isn't a discipline recognized by AIDA, but it is something that some people do and enjoy. So Anna's getting ready to go now. We see her. She does her start in an upright position, hanging onto the line. We were commenting earlier that people have different styles.
Yeah.
Some people are
Some
on their
people
back,
are
some people up, some people down with a snorkel. And there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you. And there goes Anna. The noodle shoots up, and there goes that big fin.
She said her monofin is from Natalia Molchanova.
She has a Molchanova fin. Yes, we were talking about Alexei's products while he was here, of course, trying to give him some business. He's now producing a line of freedive products, floats, lanyards, nose clip, fins. He's going to soon to be making wetsuits. That's his latest thing. So here she goes. She's taking one kick and getting into her free fall. What depth do you start your free fall on constant weight, Sayuri?
I start free fall around 35 to 40.
About 35 meters. Do you like to make a big pull and then start, or do you just do a kick and then just let it?
Just kick and
go.
Small kick and.
Anna's got one hand on the line just to make herself feel comfortable, probably.
Yeah.
And we noticed that when Alenka came up here, that she had the line through here, and she's got a big sore on her hand from 100 meters of having it rub on there.
Yeah.
The line's a little rough, apparently.
Oh
no! Oh, there it is. It looked like she was gonna. Yep.
Okay. Come on.
Come on it. Come on it.
60 meters. Start time 1:30.
It's very interesting to see how to free fall and how to come up.
You know, it's this dive eye has given us a lot of different things that are advantages now. We can watch everyone else, we can watch ourselves, we can see our own technique and see maybe things we want to improve. Alexei was telling Alenka that he had some tips for her on her position with her hands, which was interesting. But there's just so many elements to this with the safety and also with technique and with and now of course so that everyone can watch our dives and understand what we do in free diving. And I hope your families are watching at home, getting to see you do your dives. It's great. Here she comes now to the surface, and she takes off her goggles, gives the sign.
Very quick.
Very fast. Yeah, very fast. She has judges Katja and John over there on that line. We have our other judge, Junko Kenohama, up here on the dive eye boat with me, watching the films as they go by, and Sava Safa also here on the dive eye boat. Waiting to see what the judges say. She's got that. It's a white card for Anna. Very nice. Our last diver on the blue platform today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Congratulations, ladies. Very nice job. So, as I started to say, Helena Bourdillon from the UK is our last diver on the blue platform today. Helena has announced a dive of 71 meters in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I know that Helena has been enjoying this competition very much, and she's looking forward to enjoying some frozen margaritas. It's very warm here for some of our divers from the UK and Europe. Not used to this heat. I do think, though, that she's been training in a warmer area, maybe in the Southeast Asia. We have a huge amount of growth in the sport in China. Japan has always been strong, but in the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. Our one judge, John Wright, who is here, is from New Zealand, but he is residing in the Philippines. And he's going to be hosting the first ever competition in Indonesia. If you'd like to compete in that, if you're from that vicinity, please contact John Wright. You can always contact us at AIDAinternational.org if you're interested in competing in that competition or any other. Also, if you would like to learn about free diving or would like to find out where an instructor is located close to you, also check our website. All of our instructors are listed on there. Again, that's AIDAinternational.org. We'd be happy to help you. I've got Dr. Carey joining us right now. Dr. Carey with a white card and a beautiful dive. You must be excited.
I am.
Oh, that was just great. Just great. Carey over the years has had some, I was telling our viewers, has a very stressful job as an emergency room physician. So being able to turn that off and then go into her dives, and also I mentioned that Carrie, at competitions, being that she is a doctor, the athletes are always bugging her. Fortunately, it's been a little less this competition because we have some very active physicians on site that have taken a lot of that heat off you with having to stitch up cuts and other odd things that have happened during the competition. But wow, tell us about that dive, Carrie.
Oh wow, I did a lot of visualization on that dive because in the previous days I've had some, it's like my subconscious just turns a switch and before I know it, I've turned around and I'm coming up and I'm like, why did I just turn?
Yeah.
It's like my body gets uncomfortable, and as soon as my body gets uncomfortable, my mind just turns the switch before I even have like a conscious awareness. And so today I had a plan.
Oh, that's great. And obviously that plan worked.
It did, and it did. It was a very relaxing dive.
Oh, I can just see how excited. You know, the thing is, now that you're over this hump, this may just do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you've kind of got that monkey off your back.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe,
just, you know, I announced 73. I thought about being conservative, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to go for it and come what may. And
it worked for you.
Yeah.
That is just brilliant. You know, that is so exciting because I was explaining to everyone earlier and today that this sport is such a mental thing, and it's just a fight constantly with us, with our head, you know, of saying, well, you know, I don't know, I don't feel well, I'm going to turn early, you know, and then all of a sudden you turn and you can't go back. So it's... And then you beat yourself up all the way up. Why did I do that? Why did I do that?
Yeah.
You know? And until you can somehow make that breakthrough.
Well, and instead of saying don't turn and having like a negative a negative thing, I said on the surface right before as I was taking my final breath, I said yes, yes, yes. And then on the dive, I said relax, relax.
Oh, that's just perfect.
Relax.
Yeah, Alexi and Anna and I were talking about the importance of thinking positively.
Yeah.
Negative thoughts, you know, not only in
even if it's to say don't turn, that's still
a
a
negative thought. You need to put everything in a positive perspective. And you know, we were saying that it just in life, as a life philosophy, being a positive person makes you much more successful. Anybody who mopes around in negative and is always self-defeating, it's just you're setting yourself up to lose from before you've even started. So it is something that it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. To be optimistic is hard.
Well, this is a great sport to practice.
It is,
and it feeds over into your life. So when I'm in the emergency department and I've got just everything's hitting the fan and going crazy, I have this practice of this positive mental speak that I can rely on to stay focused and positive.
That is just amazing. I mean, can you imagine that how this translates in your life? If Carrie can do this in her business as an emergency room physician, and I'm sure you can all imagine, you know, you get people in there sometimes 10s or 20 at a time if there's been some kind of an incident, huge car wreck, pile up on Highway 10 or whatever it is, and trying to stay focused and calm and be able to do what you need to do. I'm sure that sometimes you can get rattled and things that just happen. So
now
we have Helena, and Helena's from the UK, and have you had a chance to meet her? And
I
train
have.
with her?
We're very close friends. She's got a very nice Freefall there. She's taught me a lot about meditation, and so she's really got that mastery. She has mastered that skill.
Yeah, that's
and you can see it in her fall.
Yeah, what we try to do during the free fall, and believe it or not, I'm sure for some of us who have not done much diving or just looking at the sport for the first time.
There she goes.
There she's got her tag. She's securing it in her hood and coming up. During that free fall time where we're just sinking without doing anything, you're trying to conserve oxygen, and the best thing to do is try to put your mind in a meditative state, because your brain actually burns a lot of oxygen on itself just in the thought process.
So she's got her arms down because she hurt her shoulder a couple of days ago, and it hurts her to raise her arm.
Well, we've been watching. We've had a number of athletes. Alenka, for one, who is certainly someone we would say is a good diver, especially today with 100 meters and white card. She just dives like that anyway. So, you know, it is a style preference as well. It might be a little bit uncomfortable for Helena because it's not what she's used to doing. We can see the first safety coming in now. giving her a signal, reassuring her that everything's good and she's almost there. It's always a good feeling to see those safeties.
Sure is.
And there comes some photographers, Dan Verhoeven right in front of her.
There she
and
goes.
Here she comes. Let's see how she does.
Come on,
Oh, that's great. Just waiting, The judges are obliged to hold the diver for 30 seconds before they present the card. We're waiting for that final decision. There it is, white card. And our last diver will be over on the white platform. It's Kristen Kuba of the U.S. from Hawaii, part of our very strong Hawaii club here. Thank you, Carrie, for joining us. So last but not least is Kristen. Kristen has announced a dive of 70 meters and a dive time of 2:05. I believe Kristen is a relatively new diver, but she's been training with the club over there. And I told you earlier they train regularly at Honaunau in Kona, and so they're able to get a lot of practice in. And they also have several instructors and Annabelle Edwards and people who have a lot of experience and expertise and a lot of knowledge that they share with each other. So it's a very nice atmosphere for them. I don't know if she's a spearfisherman. If several of our women are spearfisher persons, and she may be one of them. I don't know, but this will be our last dive of the day. We've had an excellent day out here for the ladies. Again, as we did in free immersion, the ladies have been very solid. I think it's a combination of prudence, making good calls on their announcements, taking into account the nerves and the stress. They seem to try to make an announcement that they think they can do safely and easily in order to obtain that white card. And we've had a lot of white cards today. We've only had a couple of early turns and one red card. So it's really been a very, very positive day for the ladies again. Big dives, certainly big dives, but very successful dives and a lot of white cards. We're always happy to see those white cards. Kristen's getting ready now. She's laying on her back. She has a noodle under her neck. We're getting a view now on Dive Eye of what it looks from under the water, looking up towards the platform. You can see Kristen there relaxing. There's 3 minutes ready before she starts. Her dive time is 11:20, where she will start. And her dive time is 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Getting a little chop right now. This chop is not from weather or anything. It's from passing boat traffic from from the wake of boats. So when you see those big waves come through, it has nothing to do with our weather pattern. It is just because we're in West Bay in Honduras, and it's a big tourist area. It's beautiful. There's resorts all along, and palm trees and coconuts and turtles and lots of fish, and it's a very popular spot for tourists. So because of that, there's boats going by, and there's not too much we can do about that. I know the organizer, Esteban Darhampi, has asked to try to keep that to a minimum, but there's sometimes we do get some wake coming by, but we just wait momentarily when it passes, and then it's done. But it's generally pretty flat. So we've been very lucky so far with the weather. I'm hoping we have good weather tomorrow again for the men for constant weight. We will be, and there's Helena coming up to join me. And congratulations, Helena. Please sit down, try to catch your breath here. Just finish that dive. What a lovely dive that was. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Very good. How did it feel? Tell us about your dive.
Well, it was an interesting experience because 2 days ago I slipped on the platform and I wrenched my shoulder, so I got my arm taped, and I ended up doing the dive without any arms, which was like, well, I guess as long as I can get down there, it'll be all right. And yeah, it was really nice, really, really happy.
Great.
Another white card.
Good, congratulations. You know, Carrie was commenting that about telling us about your shoulder issue, and You didn't know it, but earlier we were watching Alenka, and that's just how she dives. She dives with her arms
I
like
saw-
that. The
actually
Slovenian
saw-
style, which she's gotten from Samo Jurenko. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's lesser than. It's just an option.
Not necessarily that your viewers will understand what a mouthful is, but having my arms down and being able to bring the air up was a lot easier than with the arms above your head. So I may investigate that in training a bit more. It was just what was different. What was really quite different was on the way back up, not having my after the initial sort of 20 kicks, not having my arms up and that streamlining. But it was white card.
Oh, that was very
Happy
nice.
days.
White card is always a good thing. We've had a lot of white cards today. It's nice. Helena mentioned mouthfeel. We have explained it a little bit, maybe not in enough elucidation for you all to understand, but the mouthfeel is necessary because as we get deeper, our lungs compress. There's not enough air in there to be able to blow it out and equalize the ears, pop your ears. So what we do is we get to a certain depth, usually prior to 25 meters, take a huge amount of air and keep it in our cheeks. And then we use that air in the cheeks by pinching the nose with a clip or something else or the hand and push it up into the ears to open them up. Here goes Kristen Kuba, our last diver of the day. She's doing 70 meters, and we'll ask Helena for some comments on Kristen's style.
Nice strong start. Yeah, this diver is just amazing, not just from the safety point of view and the excitement of being able to watch the dives, but also from technical training.
Yeah.
We can all see what we're doing and we can learn from it. Very nice. She's slowing down her kick, moving into the free fall phase perhaps, or mouthful. It's quite difficult to tell. Some athletes do tend to slow down there. I think that was a mouthful there. Now she's sinking very gently. I think she's got her arm on the line just as a little guidance, probably so she can shut her eyes and be more relaxed. Looks very nice. Maybe a slight tilt, or that actually is probably the camera angle. That looks great. Really nice.
It looks like she's going to do an early turn.
What a shame.
Oh, that is
what
a shame. It was looking just fine, but there's no way to know
lovely,
if having an ear problem. Sometimes equalization is very dependent upon relaxation. The two go hand in hand, and if you tend to be tense and tense up, sometimes those ears just don't want to cooperate.
And there's also, I noticed there's a thermocline where the water gets noticeably colder, is somewhere in the 40s, and if you're not prepared for it and relaxed, that can actually make you swallow the air in your mouth and make the dive finish a lot earlier, unfortunately. Happens to the best of us. And the rest of us.
Yeah, for those with more experience, some of those things are tolerated a little better, but for newer divers, it can be somewhat surprising to hit that all of a sudden. And she is from Hawaii, she's used to warm water, so
lucky lady.
Here she comes up. And unfortunate that our last dive will be a yellow card, but
what? Better than a red card.
That's all
Better than a red
You know
card.
what? And you have to take care of yourself, whatever that is. There's no shame in turning early. It just means you're being a thoughtful and prudent diver. So for Kristen, I'm sure she's disappointed, but there's always another day. That's the thing. An early turn, you've got another day. If you injure yourself, you may be out for a couple months. So it's nice to see someone being thoughtful and doing the best thing to take care of themselves.
Indeed.
Waiting for that card from John Wright, and there he is, yellow card, early turn. So that concludes our broadcast for today. Of course, we're all anticipating what's going to be happening tomorrow with the men's constant weight. I'm hoping that we don't have as many red cards.
Slightly less dramatic as the other
I'm
day.
hoping that the ladies have been so solid, the men have been a little bit more just don't know what's going to happen with them, but I'm expecting to have some dives plus 125 meters announced. We'll see. The announcements will be posted tonight, 7:00 p.m. Honduras time. They will be on the AIDA International Facebook page, also on the World Championship website. But if you're on Facebook, please join us at AIDA group page. I also have a regular page and AIDA announcements. We're all over Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. And our new YouTube channel that we've just got going with all the videos here on it. So it's AIDA at YouTube. Please check us out. Also, as I mentioned earlier, if you have any other questions or anything, contact us at aidainternational.org. And please join our website. Just enter your email and we can put you on our mailing list and get you hooked up with instructors, competitions, anything you want to know about freedive. We're all about freediving. We are a volunteer organization. None of us get paid. We're here because we love this sport, and it's all just a labor of love for us. And
thank you.
Glad to have you join us. And Helena, thank you for helping us, and great congratulations again. Thank you all, and we will see you the same time tomorrow morning. Bye, Mom. Signing off. Thank you.